The girl groggily opens her eyes, everything a blur. A middle-aged woman is shouting, but what really catches her eye is the devastatingly handsome young man standing nearby. "Whoa, he's gorgeous," the girl can't help but whisper, captivated by his beauty. While everyone else assumes the girl got a concussion from her fall and is spouting nonsense, scenes from a novel flash through her mind, feeling like her own memories. The fake heiress, Arya, had intentionally thrown herself down the stairs to frame the real heiress, Evelyn, trying to get Mrs. Laurent to kick her out. And the woman standing before her now, with her many secret identities and even more followers, was that very same female lead, Evelyn. It all clicked in an instant. I've been reincarnated into the story as the hated villainess. Arya had managed to piss off the female lead right from the start. This was an unwinnable scenario. Mrs. Laurent fiercely defended her, the fake daughter, while furiously scolding Evelyn. Evelyn, looking completely unfazed, denied the accusation. "I didn't push her." Mrs. Laurent, enraged, threatened to send Evelyn back to the orphanage. To prevent the novel's tragedy from repeating itself, Arya decided to grab onto her lifeline. She immediately admitted she slipped and fell all on her own, and it had nothing to do with her sister. Just when Arya thought the crisis was averted, the battle between mother and daughter escalated. Evelyn didn't appreciate her dear sister's gesture one bit, leaving Arya stunned. "Oh no, does she think I'm being two-faced?" Arya quickly tried to mediate, but Mrs. Laurent only pointed a finger at Evelyn, scolding her for being an ungrateful older sister who needed her younger sister to cover for her. Evelyn, losing her patience, repeated, "I didn't push her." Mrs. Laurent just saw it as a stubborn denial. Arya was about to lose her mind. "Please, just stop talking." At that moment, Dr. Evans, who couldn't stand it anymore, spoke up. "Don't you have security cameras in the house? A quick look would clear this up." Mrs. Laurent scoffed at the idea. She was the eyewitness, after all. Her logic was astounding, and Arya wanted to cry. The next scene in the novel was the classic face-slapping moment, and she desperately needed to rewrite the script. "Mom, I really did just miss a step and fall. Please don't blame my sister. I'm begging you, just believe me and drop it." Seeing her mother was still skeptical, Arya pointed out the crucial evidence. Evelyn was recording on her phone at the time. "If you don't believe me, check the video." Evelyn paused, a flicker of doubt in her eyes. "Arya knew I was recording and still did this?" After Arya's frantic explanation, the crisis was finally over. Seeing the drama was done, Evelyn turned to leave. "Have a great evening, sis," Arya chirped with extreme enthusiasm. After seeing the doctor out, a maid approached. "Miss, should I take Asher outside?" Arya was confused. "Take him where?" "Did you forget, miss? You punished Mr. Asher by not allowing him to stay in the house." "Right." The original Arya had banished him to the greenhouse after he accidentally broke one of her expensive cosmetics. A light bulb went off in Arya's head. This was her chance. A prime opportunity to earn points with the future villain. She put on her kindest smile. "Asher is my brother. How could he possibly sleep in the greenhouse? Have him go back to his room immediately." Asher thanked her on the surface, but inside, he felt no joy. A second later, Arya walked up and ruffled his hair, her voice dripping with affection. "You can finally get a good night's rest." Asher was completely baffled. Did she hit her head harder than I thought? Or is this just some new, twisted way to torture me? Early the next morning, Arya got a text. Someone, claiming to be avenging her, was deliberately causing trouble for Evelyn. Arya shot out of bed and sprinted to the dining room to save her own skin. A glamorous woman greeted her with a sycophantic smile. "Cousin, you're here." The woman, who practically oozed fake sweetness, was Scarlet Ruin, the second daughter of the Ruin family and an actress signed to the Lawrence Entertainment Company. She was also the original Arya's loyal lackey. Arya sat down. "What's all the chatter about? We were just talking about that ungrateful stray your family took in." "I can't believe she pushed you down the stairs." Faced with the baseless accusation, Evelyn didn't even bother to look up. "Scarlet, why are you calling me an ungrateful stray?" Arya asked, seemingly out of nowhere. Scarlet panicked, pointing a finger at Evelyn. "I was talking about her." "But Evelyn is the true Laurent heiress. I'm the one who was adopted." Mrs. Laurent immediately suspected Evelyn was behind this, her favoritism reaching absurd levels. The fake daughter was showered with love, while the real one was constantly blamed. Arya, abandoning her usual spoiled demeanor, tried to reason with her mother. But Scarlet, seeing all this, was secretly delighted. She played dumb. "What's this about a fake heiress stealing someone's place? I don't understand." At that moment, Evelyn, who had been staring into her coffee, let out a soft chuckle. "It's probably because you're an idiot." Scarlet's face went pale, and she tried to stir up more trouble. "You country bumpkin! If the Lawrence really cared about you, they would have announced your identity to the public by now." Before anyone could react, Arya looked at Scarlet with mock surprise. Cousin, it seems you really could benefit from reading a few more books. Scarlet was so angry she was speechless. Mrs. Laurent listened to Arya and fell silent for a long moment. With a sigh of resignation, she took Arya's hand. No matter what, Arya will always be a Laurent. Seeing that Arya was still the family favorite despite being the fake, Scarlet immediately tried to suck up, presenting her with a high-end skincare set. She wanted Arya's help to get a spot on a variety show her father was investing in. But Arya politely turned her down, implying Scarlet wasn't famous enough. Scarlet's face turned green with rage, but she maintained her composure. Arya then excused herself to practice piano, leaving Scarlet grinding her teeth in frustration. In the piano room, Arya was focused on her music, when a figure appeared behind her, making her jump. She spun around. Why is the final boss here? She moves like a ghost. I nearly had a heart attack. Evelyn looked at her with a lazy expression and asked a single blunt question. Why? Arya understood immediately. She was asking why she'd revealed her identity as the fake heiress. Arya couldn't exactly say, because I'm from another world and I know you're a super-powered big shot, I can't afford to offend, so she just shrugged. I guess the fall knocked some sense into me. Suddenly, Evelyn held out her hand, gesturing for the skincare set. Arya was confused. Does a powerhouse like her really need a freebie? Evelyn let out a small scoff. You won't even spare a skincare set for me, but you're so willing to give me your identity as the Laurent family's daughter. Arya stared at her, then a thought struck her. Sis, you figured out there's something wrong with this skincare, didn't you? Evelyn didn't answer, simply moving to sit on the windowsill. Arya dutifully returned to the piano. She remembered from the novel that the female lead never bothered with such trivial matters. Her intervention must have worked. She didn't know how much time had passed before Evelyn's eyes fluttered open. She was surprised to find she had actually fallen asleep. It had been a long time since she'd slept so peacefully. Could it have been the music? Just then, Arya foolishly leaned in close, and Evelyn instinctively pushed her away. Arya froze. Was my playing so bad it stunned her into silence? Keep it up, Arya. You have to play your part as cannon fodder. Arya was sound asleep, drooling slightly when her phone rang, jolting her awake. She groggily answered, only to be met with a barrage of angry yelling. Cursing the psycho on the other end, she hung up. But as the fog of sleep lifted, she checked social media. Every trending topic was about Arya Laurent, the fake heiress. It dawned on her. The person she'd just hung up on was the original Arya's fiancé, Derek Vance. In the novel, the Vances and Lawrence had an arranged marriage. After the engagement was broken, the original Arya schemed her way into marrying Derek, but it didn't last. The Vances, seeing she had no more value, quickly cast her aside. In the end, she was killed by the villain Asher, who broke her finger before she died. Thinking of this, Arya knew she couldn't have anything to do with that scumbag. Just then, the scumbag himself sent a text, threatening to break off the engagement. Arya couldn't have cared less. Meanwhile, her mother, Celine, had heard the news and was already livid. The Vances have gone too far. They want to switch the engagement to Evelyn? She was even convinced Evelyn had orchestrated the whole online scandal just to steal her sister's fiancé. Arya sighed. There's no way someone like Evelyn would be interested in a clown like Derek. She spoke gently. Mom, Evelyn just got here. She doesn't even know about the engagement. She wouldn't try to steal it. It took a lot of effort to calm her down, but Celine was still suspicious. Arya continued her performance, subtly shifting the blame toward her cousin, Scarlet. At the mention of Scarlet, Celine was ready to storm over to the ruins and slap her. This was exactly what Arya wanted, but she didn't want any more complications. Her main goal was to return the heiress title to Evelyn. Maybe she let it slip by accident, Arya said, stopping her mother. Let's just wait for Dad to get home before we decide anything. Her words calmed Celine down. Even though Arya wasn't her biological daughter, her love for her was undeniable. Arya felt a small pang of affection and silently vowed to protect the Laurent family. Having navigated another crisis, Arya let out a sigh of relief. According to the story's timeline, she felt like she was forgetting something important. She racked her brain and finally remembered, the blood bag is in danger. No matter what, this was a golden opportunity to get on the future villain's good side. Arya was sprinting through the bustling streets on a rescue mission. Suddenly, an old man stumbled toward her. As she moved to get out of his way, he collapsed at her feet. Arya froze. Is this guy trying to scam me? Onlookers immediately gathered. Look at that girl, she's obviously some rich kid. Did she just run him down? One person muttered. Wow, you guys sure love a good spectacle, Arya thought wryly. As a former psychologist, her professional instincts took over. She knelt down to check the man and confirmed he was in cardiac arrest. Someone call 911, she shouted as she began CPR. But someone in the crowd sneered. What's a pampered little princess like her gonna do? She's probably just putting on a show. Just then, a young man in a black face mask stepped forward from the crowd to defend her. I saw the whole thing. She didn't hit him. She's trying to save him. Another middle-aged man also came forward, helping Arya by giving the man rescue breaths. A few minutes later, the ambulance arrived. The paramedics praised them as they loaded the man onto a stretcher. Your quick response was excellent. You saved him. The middle-aged man gave Arya a nod of approval. After they exchanged introductions, Arya thanked the masked young man and hurried away. Watching her go, the young man pulled down his mask and shouted, "Hey, my name is Jackson King!" Across the street in a desolate warehouse, Asher was cornered by a group of thugs. You little punk, you dare reject our boss? You're asking for it. Who the hell is your boss trying to lay a hand on my person? Arya announced her dramatic entrance. Asher was huddled in a corner, head down, a cold glint in his eyes hidden by his bangs. The thugs all turned to look at Arya. Seeing a delicate-looking girl, one of them leered, "Well, hello there, pretty lady. You want to stay and play with us?" The words were barely out of his mouth before Arya executed a perfect shoulder throw, slamming him to the ground and planting her foot firmly on his back. "I told you," she said, her voice dangerously low. "Don't touch my people." A few minutes later, all the thugs were writhing on the floor, moaning in pain. Arya glanced at them with disgust. Trash. Before she was reincarnated, she was the heiress to a top-tier family, and to ensure her safety, she was even thrown into a special forces training camp for a year. A few low-level thugs were nothing. Asher stared at her, still in a daze. As she approached, he seemed to calm, like a wild animal being soothed. His voice was soft and clear. "Are you okay, Arya?" Arya smiled warmly and held out her hand. "I'm fine. I'm here to protect you." She asked him what had happened. "It was Veronica Wong, the daughter of the CEO of Orbit Entertainment," he explained. "She has a thing for me. I turned her down, so she had me kidnapped." Arya's expression darkened. Was she upset because someone was after her personal blood bank? Asher noticed her change in mood and immediately lowered his head, whispering an apology. "I'm so sorry, Arya. It's my fault you got dragged into this." Arya snapped out of it, her gentle demeanor returning. She ruffled his hair and promised that if anyone ever bullied him again, she'd bully them right back. "Thank you," Asher said, looking up at her. The coldness in his eyes seemed to have thawed just a little. Just then the police burst in. Both sides claimed to be the victim. The officers looked from the fragile-looking Arya and the slender Asher to the beefy, intimidating thugs, and it was pretty clear who they believed. Plus, the clever Arya had recorded the whole confrontation. Soon enough, the thugs were being led away in handcuffs. Arya happily grabbed Asher's hand and started running, announcing she was taking him out for a celebratory dinner. They arrived at the Jade Pavilion, but Arya had forgotten her membership card and couldn't get in. Just as Asher was about to pull out his own card, an idea sparked in Arya's mind. "The final boss is a regular here. Maybe I can use this to suck up to her again." She told the hostess they were there to meet someone. "And who might that be?" "She's with me," a familiar voice said from behind them. A group of cocky young men approached, with Derek Vance leading the pack. He walked straight up to Arya, oozing a confidence she couldn't fathom, assuming she was there to beg him to take her back. Arya had no idea who this guy was, but from his smug tone, she guessed he must be the scumbag fiancé Derek. "Are all the scumbags in novels this dumb?" she mused, accidentally saying her thoughts out loud. Derek's face fell. Arya made it even clearer. "Neither I nor my sister would ever be interested in you." From a corner table, Evelyn, who had been watching the show, silently agreed. Definitely not interested. Publicly rejected, Derek was furious. He turned to the staff. "Get them out of here." But a moment later, a manager approached their group. "Mr. Vance, your membership has just been revoked. We'll have to ask you to leave." They were all stunned. "What? Are you sure you're not mistaken?" "It's an order from our owner. Please, this way." 3 security guards immediately appeared and escorted the group out. The hostess then politely invited Arya and Asher inside. Arya was ecstatic. "The final boss is actually letting me ride her coattails. If I just keep being shameless, her impression of me is bound to get better." Arya and Asher were led to Evelyn's table, where Arya noticed a young man with black-framed glasses sitting next to her. From his style, Arya guessed this was Evelyn's brother, Leo, also known as Jason, the 7th-ranked hacker on the dark web's leaderboard. "What do you want to eat?" Evelyn pushed the menu toward Arya. Seeing that Evelyn and Leo hadn't ordered yet, Arya, ever the freeloader, politely said that she and Asher weren't picky. Evelyn nodded and ordered a few of her usual dishes. Arya then blurted out, "And a plate of stir-fried pork liver with a small glass of warm rice wine." The waitress stared at her, bewildered. "Miss, this is the Jade Pavilion. Every dish is a state banquet-level specialty." Evelyn waved her off, signaling her to put the order in. The food arrived quickly. Arya's eyes lit up with anticipation. The novel had hyped this place up to be legendary, and she couldn't wait to taste it for herself. But as the dishes were served, she felt a strange sense of familiarity. She popped a piece of food into her mouth, then tried a few other dishes, before setting her chopsticks down. It wasn't the taste she remembered. It was then she realized she could never go back to her old life. Noticing her strange mood, Asher asked, "Don't you like the food?" Evelyn scoffed. "I thought you said you weren't picky." Arya snapped back to reality. No, I love it. It's delicious." She immediately started shoveling food into her mouth, not forgetting to push a plate of ribs towards Asher. "Here, Asher, have some of this." The sudden show of concern made Asher's heart skip a beat. He smiled and thanked her. Looking at the sweet puppy dog-like boy in front of her, Arya couldn't understand how the original villainess could have been so cruel to him. Leo, who had been hunched over his laptop, suddenly burst out laughing. "Boss, I got that two-faced fake heiress back to the top of the trending list." A dead silence filled the air. Arya, however, just smiled at him calmly. Leo looked up and finally noticed her. "Hey, my name's Leo." "What's yours, beautiful?" "I'm Arya." Leo couldn't believe it. This beautiful girl had the same name as that awful fake heiress. But then Arya informed him that she was, in fact, the very same fake Laurent heiress from the trending topics. The one he'd just called two-faced. Talk about a cringy, socially suicidal situation. Leo awkwardly looked to Evelyn for help. Evelyn just nodded. "That's right, this is Arya, my sister." Hearing the final boss herself call her sister, Arya was overjoyed. Maybe her big sister wasn't so bad after all. Leo froze for a second. Wait, wasn't this supposed to be some dramatic, backstabbing family feud between the real and fake heiresses? My boss and this girl seem to be getting along just fine. Realizing his mistake, Leo quickly apologized and opened his laptop to take down the trending topic. But he was too late. His computer had been hacked by Quest, a supposedly minor character in the novel who was ranked 3rd on the hacker list. Arya was confused. Why would Quest suddenly attack Leo? Leo, trembling, grabbed his phone. "Don't worry, boss, I'll use my phone to get our sister off the trending list." But when he opened his phone, the topic was already gone. He looked at Evelyn, confused. Had the #1 ranked hacker done it? A second later, his phone was hacked too. Frustrated, he stomped his foot, vowing to make Quest his sworn enemy. With the problem solved, Arya turned her attention back to Asher. "Stop looking at your phone and eat more." "Thanks, Arya," he said, placing his phone face down on the table. After lunch, Arya and Asher left first. Once they were gone, Leo finally voiced his confusion. That Arya girl is completely different from what the files said about her. Evelyn didn't respond, simply swirling the wine in her glass. "How are things on that end?" Leo's expression turned serious. "Those idiots won't find anything anytime soon." "He's here in Sterling City," Evelyn said calmly. "That guy from the Zhao family in the capital is already here." She smiled cryptically, confident that he was on a wild goose chase. Arya and Asher walked down the street. In the sunlight, the needle marks on the back of Asher's hand were alarmingly visible. He had been used as a living blood bag by the Laurents since he was a child, enduring inhumane treatment. Arya was curious, doesn't he hate them? She looked into his eyes and activated her hypnotic ability. Asher's expression went slack. He shook his head slightly. "I don't hate them. My blood belongs to my sister." Arya was taken aback. There were no lies under her hypnosis, so he was telling the truth. The thought that he genuinely believed his blood belonged to her made her realize just how twisted the Laurent family was. But on the bright side, Asher hadn't turned into a villain yet. There was still hope. She gently tapped his forehead, and he snapped out of it. "You had something on your head," she said. "Thanks, Arya." Determined to stop him from going down a dark path, Arya tried to shower him with kindness. She took him on a massive shopping spree. Asher, trailing behind her laden with bags, felt less like he was being compensated and more like a porter. A few hours later, they were in an elevator heading down. Asher, now a human coat rack, was taking up a quarter of the space. Arya cleared her throat awkwardly and reached out. "Here, let me take that bag from your left hand. It's okay. I've got it." As more people crowded into the elevator, Asher instinctively used his body to shield Arya from the crush. Staring at his handsome face so close to hers, Arya's heart skipped a beat. A middle-aged woman across from them smiled knowingly. "Young lady, your boyfriend treats you very well." This was a huge misunderstanding. Just as Arya was about to explain, the elevator doors opened and the crowd dispersed. She quickly changed the subject. "So, Asher, did you like what we bought today? We can go again next time." "I like anything you give me," he said, his smile as warm as the sun, his voice gentle and pleasant. Arya had to force herself to look away. If she hadn't used her hypnosis to confirm he was a sweet, harmless lamb, she would have sworn he was intentionally trying to flirt with her. Night fell. As soon as Arya got home, she heard angry shouts from inside. Peeking through a crack in the door, she saw Evelyn and her so-called mother in a standoff. "Don't you have any sense of decency? Coming home this late? Is that how a high society lady behaves?" Evelyn laughed bitterly. "What can I say? I had a mother who gave birth to me, but not one who raised me." Celine flew into a rage, grabbing the nearest teacup and hurling it at Evelyn. "You wretched girl! Are you blaming me?" "Mom, wait, I'm home!" Arya rushed in to stop her, but she was too late. The cup shattered against Evelyn's shoulder. Seeing Evelyn clutch her arm and the broken porcelain on the floor, Arya's heart sank. "It's over. All the brownie points I earned today are gone." Evelyn glanced at Arya and smirked. "Mrs. Laurent, why don't you repeat what you just said to me to your perfect daughter, Arya?" Celine would never speak to Arya that way. Instead, she raised her hand to slap Evelyn. Seeing the impending blow, Arya lunged forward and grabbed her mother's arm, stopping her self-destructive action. After some coaxing, Celine's anger subsided slightly, but she was still fuming. "See? Arya is so well behaved, unlike some ungrateful wolves." Arya quickly cut her off, changing the subject to Scarlet. "Mom, did you get the test results for that skincare set Scarlet gave me?" "At which it was full of lead. Using it long-term could be fatal." As expected, the mention of Scarlet redirected all of Celine's fury. Evelyn quietly turned and left. Arya motioned for Asher to slip away too, but he just gave her a strange, knowing smile. Arya stayed with Celine through dinner, waiting until her anger had cooled before going downstairs. She found Evelyn leaning against her bedroom door. Arya couldn't read her expression, but she knew she had to do some damage control after her mother's outburst. She started to apologize on Celine's behalf, but Evelyn cut her off. "Aren't you forgetting something from tonight?" Arya was clueless. Evelyn held up her phone, displaying a QR code. "The bill from the Jade Pavilion, cash or scan." Arya couldn't believe it. A multi-billionaire was cornering her for a $20,000 dinner bill. But when she went to scan the code, she realized it was a friend request. "Yes, if you wanted to add me on social media, you could have just said so," Arya said excitedly, moving in for a hug. Evelyn coolly stepped back. "The crap! Pay up!" After transferring the money, Arya added Evelyn to a group chat called Our Loving Family. Almost immediately, the chat filled with nasty messages. Her younger brother, Peter, even threatened to deal with Evelyn when he got home. Evelyn glanced at the messages with disdain and left the group. Arya's eye twitched. You angsty teenager! You're going to get me killed!" She vaguely remembered that one of Evelyn's secret identities was a professional esports champion, Peter's idol. It looked like her dumb brother was in for a rude awakening. Just then, her father, Mr. Laurent, sent her a transfer of $200,000. Arya's eyes lit up. "Thanks, Dad." He followed up with a voice message. "Arya, I'm sorry you had to go through that with the engagement. We'll just let the online stuff die down. As for that ungrateful Scarlet, I'll deal with her personally when I get back." Arya felt a mix of emotions. Her new parents might have questionable values, but they truly doted on her more than their own biological daughter. She remembered that in the novel, the Laurent family ended up ruined. Mr. Laurent's company went bankrupt, and after losing his son, daughter, and wife, he had a mental breakdown and jumped from the top of the Laurent Corporation building. Reading it as a bystander, she had felt a sense of justice for the villains. But now, living it, she couldn't smile. To avoid that tragic fate, Arya decided she had to set them straight. She sent a voice message back, her tone calm and gentle. "Dad, don't worry about the engagement. I never liked Derek anyway. His family is all about calculation and personal gain." Her words struck a chord. Mr. Laurent knew Derek's father was a ruthless businessman. He immediately called him. Before the other man could even speak, Mr. Laurent laid into him. "The engagement is off. Your family is aiming way above your station." With the Vance problem solved, Arya was impressed by how effective her new dad was. She had no doubt Scarlet's fate would be just as satisfying. The doorbell at the Ruin Villa rang, and Scarlet eagerly opened it. Seeing the entire Laurent clan standing there, she feigned innocence. "Are you here to see Grandpa?" Arya stepped forward. "We're here to see you." Scarlet's heart dropped. "Did they find out about the skincare?" Inside, Mr. Laurent slapped the lab report showing the lead contamination onto the coffee table. The Ruins' faces turned pale, especially Scarlet, who couldn't hide her guilt. Scarlet's mother, Vera, quickly made an excuse. "Scarlet can be so careless. She must have accidentally given Arya a sample product." Arya shot back without mercy. "So, the samples for your new product line are contaminated with lead? Or is it that all your products are?" Her words left Scarlet's parents speechless. Mr. Ruin knew he had to offer some kind of resolution, so he apologized to Mr. Laurent on Scarlet's behalf. But Celine wasn't having it. She demanded a public apology from Scarlett on social media. Vera, fearing her daughter's acting career would be ruined, begged for leniency. Seeing her brother and sister-in-law determined to protect Scarlett, Celine dropped all pretense of politeness. Does Dad know your company's products have such a major issue? Do the shareholders? At that, Scarlett's face turned ashen. Before she could react, her father slapped her hard across the face. You wretched girl! I never knew you were so malicious. I'm going to teach you a lesson today. Arya sat back munching on popcorn, ready for the show to begin. Scarlett reeled from the blow and her mother, Vera, looked on with pure anguish. She turned to Arya, her voice a desperate plea. Please, just let this go. Celine wasn't having any of it. She vowed that Scarlett would pay for getting the fake heiress trending online. Seeing she was losing, Scarlett feigned ignorance. Auntie, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Just then, a deep, authoritative voice cut through the tension from the top of the stairs. That's enough. If Scarlett is at fault, then she will face the consequences. Celine, worried the scandal over the contaminated cosmetics would affect her position in the company, hurried over. Dad, what are you doing down here? Grandpa Ruin sat down, his expression firm as he prepared to stand up for his real granddaughter. Since Evelyn is my actual granddaughter, and Arya has been living with her identity for so many years, isn't it time for things to be set right? Celine was aghast. Dad, how can you be so cruel? She protested. Arya is still a minor, and she has a heart condition. How could she possibly survive outside the Laurent family? Grandpa Ruin could see that Evelyn wasn't exactly welcome in the Laurent household. He turned to her. Evelyn, if you ever need anything, you come to me. Your grandfather has your back. Evelyn met the old man's gaze and nodded slightly. Thank you, Grandpa. The atmosphere was finally calming down, and Arya was about to try and smooth things over between her mom and Evelyn when she heard a soft, mocking scoff. Chloe Ruin, the second daughter of the Ruin family. Arya sighed internally. She remembered Chloe from the novel. She was the one who, after being framed and relentlessly cyberbullied by the original Arya and Scarlett, fell into a deep depression and eventually took her own life. Now that she was in this world, the original Arya's messes were hers to clean up. That meant it was up to her to cure Chloe's depression. Arya walked over to Chloe's side, picked up a teacup, and took a small sip. She adopted the original villainess's sweetly condescending tone. I'm so jealous of you, Chloe. Grandpa taught you the art of tea himself. Still, the taste isn't that different from when I just throw some leaves in a pot. Chloe looked up, her eyes cold. Your talent for playing the innocent victim really is top-notch, she said sarcastically. Seeing his own granddaughter being slighted, Grandpa Ruin couldn't sit still. He wanted to see just how good this girl's skills really were to make such a bold claim. Arya blinked innocently. If my tea is better than Chloe's, surely I get some kind of prize, right, Grandpa? The old man sighed, cornered. He agreed that if she won, he would give her his prized, long-collected Zisha clay tea set. Deal, Arya said brightly. She then turned to Evelyn. Sis, want to make a bet too? If I lose, I'll play the piano for you every day. That piqued Evelyn's interest. And if you win? Arya's eyes twinkled. A VIP membership card to the Jade Pavilion. Evelyn readily agreed. Deal. With the bets made, Arya laid out the tea set. Her movements were fluid and graceful. As she worked, Chloe found herself watching, her mind feeling surprisingly calm and quiet for the first time in ages. Steam rose from the pot, veiling the girl in a soft mist. Her voice was gentle, almost a whisper. You know, I was the target of an online hate mob a few days ago, too. My private messages and the comments were filled with the most vile things. But when I put my phone down, I still played the piano. I still did what I needed to do. Once the truth came out, the hate just faded away. Sometimes things happen to us that feel like a sudden illness, but it isn't your fault. Don't you agree, Chloe? Chloe stared at her, and without realizing it, she nodded. The tea is ready. Please, have a taste. Arya pushed the first cup toward Chloe. The suggestion was complete. Chloe snapped back to the present, taking the warm cup and looking at Arya thoughtfully. It dawned on her then. Arya was trying to help her. Still, her behavior was so bizarre it made you wonder if she'd hit her head. Lost in the rich aroma, Grandpa Ruin blurted out that Arya's tea was undeniably better than Chloe's. Arya wasted no time, stepping forward with a grin. Thank you for the Zisha clay tea set, Grandpa. Chloe felt a pang of guilt, knowing how much her grandfather cherished it. Noticing her expression, Arya leaned in and whispered, Don't feel bad, cousin. Grandpa doesn't blame you. You should be blaming me for being too awesome. Grandpa Ruin's eyes practically bulged out of his head. Get out. Just get out of my sight. Later, Arya found Chloe and gave her a sincere, deep bow of apology. Chloe's first reaction was, "Are you on something?" She didn't press the issue, simply stating coolly that she wouldn't forgive her. "Not unless you give me that Zisha Clay tea set." Arya pretended to think it over for a moment. "I suppose I could give you the tea set, cousin. But you'll have to do one thing for me." She knew that for someone with severe depression, mere suggestion wasn't enough, so she proposed that Chloe join a reality show with her. Chloe, not understanding her intentions, just gave her a cold look. Arya had no choice but to use reverse psychology. "What's the matter, cousin? Are you scared?" It worked. Chloe immediately agreed. Deep down, she wanted to make Scarlett and her cheating ex-boyfriend pay. Arya assured her she would handle all the arrangements for the show. With that settled, Arya trotted after Evelyn like a little kid, asking for the prize she'd won for her family. Meanwhile, Grandpa Ruin watched her leave with a strange smile. That girl is something else. It was late and raining when they got back to the Laurent Villa. Arya finally got her hands on the priceless VIP card for the Jade Pavilion. Her eyes sparkling, she leaned in close to Evelyn. Sis, thank you so much." Evelyn gave her a look of disdain. "Wipe that silly look off your face or I'm taking the card back." Arya knew when to quit. "Okay, I'm getting out now. You get some rest too, sis." As she opened the car door, she saw a lone figure waiting in the dark, rainy night. "Arya, it's raining. I came to get you." "Oh, Asher, thank you." They walked back to the villa together under one umbrella. From the car, Evelyn watched them go, letting out a knowing tusk, tusk. Meanwhile, under pressure, Scarlett posted a public apology to Arya online. But, being the schemer she was, she posted it late at night when few people would see it. She planned to delete it as soon as Arya publicly forgave her, but instead, she was flooded with questions and criticism from netizens. Angrily, she took a screenshot as proof and then deleted the post. The next morning, Celine cheerfully asked Arya if she'd seen Scarlett's now-deleted apology. She added that the Ruin Corporation had also issued a statement distancing themselves from her. Arya could hardly miss it. Scarlett's clueless fans were all over her social media, demanding that she apologize. Celine just smiled. "Don't worry, Arya. Your father has another surprise for you." Just as Arya was wondering what it could be, Zenith Entertainment's official account announced they were terminating Scarlett's contract, and in the same post, officially confirmed Arya's status as a beloved daughter of the Laurent family. When she learned this was her parents' doing, Arya's eyes filled with tears. This must be what it felt like to be cherished. She silently vowed to protect this family and never let the tragedies of the novel happen. So, online, she posted a bold three-word reply, "I don't forgive." Scarlett, meanwhile, saw the Ruin Corporation's stock price plummet because of her foolish actions. Her father was furious. Seething with rage, Scarlett muttered, "You bitch, you want to play dirty? Fine, so will I." She picked up her phone and made a call, a new, dark plan already forming. The next day, Arya took Asher to the Jade Pavilion for lunch, only to run into her mother. Arya's mind went blank. Is this a new plot point? "Mrs. Davies, I had the appointment with Ms. Caroline first. It's not right for you to cut in line like this." Mrs. Davies was smug, waving her own membership card. "Oh, Celine, darling, it's not my fault you don't have a card for the Jade Pavilion. I can't just leave my esteemed guest waiting, can I?" Arya immediately stepped in to help her mother. "Mom, you must have forgotten your card." Mrs. Davies just smirked. "Arya, dear, you can't just flash any old card and expect to get in. Look closely, this is a real membership card." She waved hers again. Arya's heart sank. Did the final boss prank me? Just then, the manager and her staff lined up to welcome Arya. Mrs. Davies protested, insisting Arya's card was a fake. But the manager's next words were a slap in the face. "Miss Arya's card is a top-tier VIP card reserved for our most distinguished guests." She changed her tune, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Celine, dear, if you're having financial trouble, you know you can always come to me for help." Arya stepped forward. "Mom, are you okay? Asher and I can join you." Celine eyed the two of them, a flicker of suspicion in her eyes. Arya always hated Asher, and where did she get that VIP card? But despite her questions, the most important thing right now was to win over Ms. Caroline. She graciously led their guest into the top-tier private dining room. Arya was floored. This place is insane. A waiter handed them menus, explaining that guests in this room could order anything they wanted, free of charge. Arya's admiration for her sister grew. The final boss is incredible. Trying to impress their guest, Celine expertly switched to English, inviting Ms. Caroline to order. But Ms. Caroline, a foreigner, just stared at the menu, completely lost. She politely asked Celine to recommend something. Celine hesitated, her husband always handled the ordering. Sensing her mother's predicament, Arya stood up. She introduced herself in fluent French and recommended several of the Jade Pavilion's signature dishes. Ms. Caroline was thoroughly impressed by her perfect accent. Arya just smiled, hoping she'd enjoy the food. Celine was stunned by Arya's fluency, but Arya just brushed it off as a hobby. Asher, however, who had been watching silently, didn't seem to buy it. Once the food arrived, Celine got straight to the point. I greatly admire your Angel series of jewelry. I was wondering if my company, Glimmer Jewels, might have the honor of commissioning a piece from you? Miss Caroline refused without a second thought. The Angel series is not yet complete. I'm here in this country primarily to find inspiration. Arya knew about this designer. Her pieces sold for astronomical prices. Her mother's company was on the verge of bankruptcy, thanks to competition from Mrs. Davies. In the novel, Celine had resorted to illegal financing to save the company and ended up in prison. Arya knew she had to intervene to keep her mother from going down that path. Celine didn't give up, but her approach was clumsy. She offered to pay double, no triple, her usual fee for a single design. Miss Caroline was offended. She felt Celine was belittling her art and her as a person. Watching her mother step on every possible landmine, Arya sighed and jumped in. Mom, let me handle this. Miss Caroline, I can provide you with the inspiration you need for your Angel series. Hearing this, Miss Caroline's demeanor softened. She promised that if Arya could truly inspire her, she wouldn't just design one piece for them, she'd give them the entire Angel series. The Angel series was extensive. If her mother's company could secure it, they would crush Mrs. Davies. But just as Arya was daydreaming, Miss Caroline spoke up. Young people should be more realistic. Finding inspiration is no easy task. Arya was prepared. She opened her phone's photo gallery and handed it to the designer. Miss Caroline took one look and her eyes widened in shock. My goodness! Angels are not just about purity, they are symbols of light. That means they should shine even in the darkness. Arya agreed. Your previous 9 pieces were all based on the theme of purity. So perhaps now… Before she could finish, she realized the photo on the screen was of herself. She quickly apologized, saying she'd picked the wrong one. But Miss Caroline saw it differently, convinced the photo would be her muse. Still, Arya found the photo she had originally intended to show. A picture of Evelyn, her aura cool and rebellious. Seeing it, Ms. Caroline was even more ecstatic. She was already envisioning a fallen angel-themed piece. She quickly added Arya on a messaging app and asked her to send both photos. Celine was baffled. Is this the same arrogant, eccentric designer I've heard about? Before she could process what was happening, Ms. Caroline told her to get the money for the designs ready and swept out of the room. Just like that, the problem was solved. Celine felt like she was in a dream. She asked Arya if Ms. Caroline had really agreed to sell them the Angel series just from seeing 2 photos. That's right, Arya confirmed with a smile. As mother and daughter were celebrating, Mrs. Davies stopped them, ready to mock Celine for supposedly angering Ms. Caroline. But Celine was having none of it. She proudly announced that Miss Caroline had agreed to work with Glimmer Jewels. Mrs. Davies and her friend just laughed, treating it as a desperate fantasy. They even suggested she go back to being a housewife since her company was doomed anyway. The tension was thick. Not wanting to see her mother bullied, Arya stepped in. Mrs. Davies, would you care to make a bet with my mother? Mrs. Davies was arrogant. Why not? But what could you possibly have to wager, Celine? Glimmer Jewels, Celine declared instantly. If she didn't secure the designs, she'd hand over her company. But if she won, Mrs. Davies would have to return the designers she'd poached from Glimmer, plus 5 of her own top designers. Mrs. Davies, not taking her seriously at all, readily agreed and left. Celine then said she was heading to the office to prepare the contract for Miss Caroline, and told Arya and Asher to go home. Only then did Arya notice the forlorn-looking puppy behind her. Oops, I completely forgot about my blood bag. She rushed over to comfort the abandoned boy, asking if he'd gotten enough to eat. Asher thought, a little late to be asking, but all he said was a quiet, I'm fine. When Arya finally got home, she collapsed on the sofa, exhausted from the unexpected dinner and drama. Suddenly, she felt something hard press against her temple. Who's there? She whispered. A familiar voice came from above her. So you sold me out? Arya was so scared she almost forgot her sister's other secret identity, a genius weapons designer. I only sold your picture, Arya stammered. Evelyn pulled the trigger without hesitation. Arya nearly wet herself, but instead of a bullet, a small flame shot out of the barrel. It was a lighter. Phew, what a scare. That's one hell of a party trick. You almost sent me to an early grave. Evelyn coolly blew out the flame. Did you practice piano today? Arya shot up and scrambled away. I'll go right now! A few moments later, the melodious notes of Claire de Lune filled the piano room. Arya had specially chosen it for her sister. She'd noticed Evelyn suffered from severe insomnia, and the piece was known for its calming effect. Arya felt a pang of pity for her. She was so young to be dealing with such a serious issue. She couldn't help but stare, and in doing so, she hit 3 wrong notes. Evelyn's voice was suddenly icy. What are you looking at me for? Arya just smiled sweetly. You're beautiful. At that, a faint pink blush crept up Evelyn's cheeks. Evelyn quickly cleared her throat to cover her embarrassment. You went out with Asher again today? Yeah, what about it? Arya nodded innocently. Stay away from him, Evelyn said coldly, before turning and leaving the room. She went downstairs and banged on Asher's door. When he opened it, she looked at him with a mocking glint in her eyes. You hear that? Play for me! Asher's expression darkened. Not to be outdone, he glanced back at the mountain of shopping bags in his room. You see that? She bought all of this just for me. The air between them crackled with tension, a silent battle of wills. Meanwhile, completely oblivious, Arya sneezed. Is someone talking about me? She wondered. At dinner, Celine told Mr. Laurent all about her successful meeting, praising Arya as her thoughtful little angel. Arya was exasperated. No matter how many times she explained that the deal was thanks to Evelyn, her biased mother seemed to have selective hearing. Arya realized that mending the relationship between this mother and daughter would be a long, slow process. She cleverly changed the subject, asking her father for 2 guest spots on the reality show Heart to Heart, explaining that she and her cousin Chloe were going to be on it. Her father was concerned. Chloe had already quit the entertainment industry due to her poor reputation. Arya couldn't exactly tell him the real reason was to help Chloe with her depression, so she resorted to pleading. But I really want to go. Besides, if anything happens, I've got you to back me up, right, Dad? Her sweet talking worked, and her father relented. However, there was one other thing puzzling him. The money he'd spent to suppress the online rumors about Arya had been mysteriously refunded. Arya knew instantly. She glanced at Evelyn, guessing she had told Leo to return it. 2 days later, Heart to Heart announced its official guest list, and the internet exploded with controversy again. Reading the vicious comments, Chloe's mood plummeted. Her grandfather knocked on the door, worried that she was taking the online hate to heart. Just then, the butler announced that Arya had arrived. Grandpa Ruin, who had been looking for someone to blame, saw his chance. But then a new idea struck him. Go on, he told the butler. Let the Tibetan Mastiff out into the yard. Even knowing his granddaughter was terrified of dogs, the old man planned to unleash the fiercest one to scare her. Chloe was being attacked online again, and her grandfather was furious. When the culprit, Arya, showed up at their door, he decided to teach her a lesson. But just as Arya stepped inside, a white blur shot past her, followed by a scream. Upstairs, Grandpa Ruin panicked. What happened? Wasn't the dog tied up? They all rushed downstairs. When they saw the massive dog pinning Arya to the ground, Grandpa Ruin yelled at the butler. Why wasn't anyone watching him? But the next second, everyone was stunned. The normally ferocious mastiff wasn't attacking Arya at all. Instead, it was acting like an oversized puppy, licking her face and wagging its tail. The sight of his prized guard dog acting like a suck-up made the old man's face darken. As it turned out, Arya's perfect hypnosis had the dog completely under her spell. She took the opportunity to point out to her grandfather that the dog's chain had been intentionally broken. The old man's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately ordered the butler to investigate. They found out it was a new maid, who stubbornly denied it, until Grandpa Ruin threatened to call the police. After the maid was taken away, Grandpa Ruin looked at Arya guiltily. What are you here for? Arya picked up a teapot from the table. To have some tea with you, of course. The old man, remembering how she'd tricked him out of his favorite tea set last time, snatched it away. No way! Happening! Arya just laughed. Actually, I'm here for Chloe. Chloe was confused. Arya explained that they were scheduled to appear on Heart to Heart in 2 days. Chloe's eyes went wide. What? Heart to Heart? The live reality show with that famous director? She knew it was a huge international hit and incredibly hard to get on. But then she saw the online backlash and her anger boiled over. How much do you hate me? You're willing to drag your own father's show through the mud just to see me get torn apart online again. Arya held up her hands, telling her to look at the guest list first. It included Scarlett and a guy named Caleb Jensen. Chloe was even more incensed. You've got to be kidding me, Arya! You're really trying to kill me! Arya sighed and pointed again. Look closer. Who else is on there? Chloe's eyes landed on the words piano virtuoso Arya Laurent. She seemed to understand something else entirely. I get it. You want a front row seat to my humiliation? Arya, at her wit's end with her paranoid cousin, grabbed her arm and pulled her out the door. Let's go. Time to get ready for my big show. A short while later, Arya had dragged Chloe to a beauty salon. Chloe looked at the tiny, unassuming shop with suspicion, but Arya forced her inside. An hour later, they emerged, Arya gushing about how amazing the place was. Chloe just grumbled. It was good, but $5,000 for a face mask? That's robbery. Arya thought to herself, This place is owned by the final boss. Of course it's good. Soon you'll have to book an appointment a year in advance. Just then, a sharp voice called out, "Well, if it isn't my dear cousins, what a surprise to see you out shopping." Scarlett, arm in arm with Chloe's ex-boyfriend Caleb, walked toward them, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Chloe's mood instantly soured. Arya couldn't help but step in. "Scarlett, you really have too much time on your hands. Hasn't Grandpa called you home yet?" Scarlett played dumb. Just then, her phone rang. It was her grandfather, telling her to get back to the house immediately. Her expression changed in a flash. She turned on Arya. "What did you do?" Arya just smiled innocently, secretly pleased. "You picked the wrong person to mess with." Scarlett flew into a rage, screaming at Arya, "You imposter, you'll pay for this!" Caleb, the scumbag ex, added his own insults, sneering at Chloe and bragging about choosing Scarlett instead. Then they turned and strutted away. Chloe's heart shattered and she slumped onto a nearby bench. Arya, worried Chloe's depression would worsen, rushed to comfort her. Chloe began to pour her heart out, saying she must have been blind to ever fall for a jerk like Caleb. Arya was secretly pleased. Talking about it was painful, but it was a necessary step for her recovery. "With your looks and talent, 100 Calebs wouldn't be worthy of you. He must have tricked you." Chloe's mood lifted slightly. He did. They had met on a film set. Her acting was terrible back then, and she was always holding up production. Caleb had appeared like a knight in shining armor, encouraging her when no one else would. She fell for him hard and secretly pulled strings to get him countless opportunities. He got more and more famous, but it turned out he had known who she was from the beginning and had only gotten close to her for her connections. After they got together, he cheated on her with Scarlett. As she finished her story, Chloe broke down in tears. Arya handed her a tissue, assuring her that bad people always get what they deserve. "What do you mean?" Chloe asked, confused. Arya pulled her to her feet. "Come with me and you'll see," she said with a gentle smile. As Chloe followed, she thought, Arya has changed. She's not so bad anymore. When they got back to the Ruin estate, they walked in to find Grandpa Ruin furious, yelling at Scarlett for bullying Chloe and trying to frame Arya. Scarlett's mother tried to defend her, but with clear evidence against her, Grandpa Ruin cut her off. "One more word out of you and you can get out of this house with her." Vera immediately shut up. Scarlett's father tried to intervene, calling Arya a fake, but it was no use. Chloe felt a pang of sympathy for Arya and was about to say something comforting, but Arya just smiled at her. "It's fine, I don't care. They're about to get what's coming to them anyway." Just as she said that, Celine and Mr. Laurent stormed in. Celine spoke first. "Brother, who are you calling a fake?" "I've said it before and I'll say it again. Arya will always be a Laurent, unlike that illegitimate child of yours, Scarlett, who isn't fit to be compared to her." Seeing them, Scarlett's father nervously went to greet them, but Celine ignored him and marched straight up to Scarlett. "If we hadn't come, were you planning on letting the person who tried to harm my daughter get away with it again?" Mr. Laurent added sternly that if they didn't get a satisfactory resolution today, they would see them in court. Scarlett, realizing how serious the situation was, clung to her father's arm. "Dad, I'm your daughter! You have to save me!" But the next second, he slapped her hard across the face. "Did you already forget your last lesson? You're lucky Arya wasn't seriously hurt, or you'd be rotting in jail." He vented all his frustration on her. The stupid girl had failed in her scheme and gotten caught, putting him in an impossible position. He shot his wife a look, signaling her to smooth things over. Vera got the message and plastered on a smile. "Sister, Scarlett knows she was wrong. We'll be sure to discipline her." Scarlett's father then turned to Arya, his face a mask of fake sincerity. "Arya, I'll have Scarlett apologize to you right now. Please just forgive her this once. I promise she'll treat you better in the future." Arya smiled faintly. "Uncle, you're too kind. Of course, I'll forgive her." Chloe couldn't believe it. They had tried to kill her, and a simple apology was enough. Arya was just going to let it go. But Arya continued calmly. "While I forgive my cousin Scarlett, I can't forgive the uncle who has failed to teach her right from wrong after all this time." Celine wholeheartedly agreed. In her eyes, this was far too serious for a simple apology. "I want you to divorce that woman," she commanded her brother, "and banish both of them from Sterling City." Scarlett had used her status as a ruin to cause trouble for years. Now she could go back to being a nobody. Vera, who had fought tooth and nail to marry into the family, fell to her knees, begging Arya for forgiveness to protect her lavish lifestyle. Scarlett's father tried to guilt-trip Arya, but Celine grabbed him by the collar. "Today, either they leave or all three of you go to jail." Faced with this ultimatum, Scarlett's father begged his own father to intervene. But Grandpa Ruin just slapped him so hard he saw stars. The old man regretted ever allowing him to bring his mistress and illegitimate daughter into the family. He declared that they had to leave today. For the sake of his company shares, Scarlett's father had no choice but to agree to the divorce and send them away. Vera, seeing how ruthless her husband could be, was terrified. Scarlett also begged and pleaded, but nothing could change their fate. Arya knew Scarlett wouldn't give up that easily, but for now, she was just happy to have gotten some revenge. Chloe, however, was still worried and warned her to be careful. Arya just grinned and leaned in close. Cousin, are you worried about me? Chloe just scoffed, refusing to admit it. With the matter settled, Celine and Mr. Laurent fussed over Arya, checking to see if she was hurt. Feeling like he hadn't contributed much, Mr. Laurent transferred $500,000 to Arya to cheer her up. Showered with love and affection, Arya was ecstatic. Chloe, too, could see that Arya was changing for the better. Realizing it was time for her to move on from her own past, she officially committed to doing the reality show. Arya reposted Chloe's announcement and the internet went wild. She received messages of support from friends and family, and her parents even shared it in their company's group chat, telling all employees to like and support her. It felt a little over the top, but being cared for felt amazing. Even her angsty younger brother, Peter, called her from his training academy. Did Evelyn force you to run away from home? Is that why you're going on some stupid show? He demanded, ready to fight her battles for her. I'm fine, really. You just focus on your training, Arya said, laughing awkwardly, as she saw Evelyn leaning against the doorframe. Before she could say anything, Peter's voice came through the phone again. Don't worry, sis. I'll deal with that country bumpkin when I get back. You take care of yourself. Gotta go, coach is calling. Evelyn just stared at Arya and said a single cold. It was obvious she had heard everything. Arya wanted the ground to swallow her whole. But terrified of being misunderstood, quickly tried to explain that she had no intention of kicking Evelyn out. After all, Evelyn was the true Laurent heiress. Evelyn suddenly leaned in close, her presence overwhelming. So, you really are planning on running away? Arya's mind went blank. That's not the right takeaway. But she couldn't deny that she had planned on quietly disappearing after this whole mess was sorted out. She couldn't keep living as an imposter forever. She hadn't expected Evelyn to figure it out. Seeing Arya's silence, Evelyn seemed to understand she wasn't ready to talk about it. She backed off. Fine, do whatever you want, she said before turning and leaving. Arya stood frozen for a moment, then let out a sigh of relief. I think she gets it now. Soon it was the premiere day of Heart to Heart. The first three guests, Finn, Willa, and Tara, greeted the live audience. When someone in the chat asked about the mystery guest, Finn teased, "You have to save the best for last. But since you're all so eager, let's bring them out. First up, our lovely couple, Scarlett and Caleb." The two of them had some nerve. Scarlett smiled for the cameras, but inside she was cursing Arya for getting her kicked out of the Ruin family. If she didn't have to pay off a massive breach of contract fee, she wouldn't be caught dead here. Tara quickly changed the subject. And next, our glamorous high society sisters. But when she turned, she saw the real mystery guest, the famous actor, Jackson King. Scarlett immediately latched onto him, wondering why a huge star like him would be on the show. As it turned out, he had seen the guest list in advance and was intrigued by a certain pink-haired girl who looked familiar. Hoping to meet her again, he had ignored his manager's protests and joined the show. I just wanted to make some new friends, Jackson said diplomatically. But as he scanned the group, he didn't see the girl he was looking for, and his disappointment was obvious. Scarlett seized the opportunity. Chloe and Arya are always like this, she said sweetly. Always late because of makeup or something trivial. Sure enough, the live chat started filling with negative comments about Chloe and Arya. Scarlett was secretly thrilled. Just then, Arya and Chloe finally appeared, looking apologetic. Sorry, everyone, we're so late. We ran into... Before she could finish, Scarlett cut her off. Whatever the reason, late is late, right, Jackson? She expected him to back her up, but when she turned, he was gone. He had rushed over to Arya, his face lit up with excitement. It's you! You're finally here! Arya was completely baffled. Who are you? Do we know each other? Arya was taken aback by his over-the-top service. She smiled politely but awkwardly and took her suitcase back. Mr. King, I can get it myself. Please call me Jackson. But Jackson's enthusiasm was already riling up his fans. The live chat was flooded with hate comments directed at Arya. She felt completely lost, wishing someone would explain what was going on. Jackson just flashed a boyish grin. Here, beautiful, take a seat. Chloe, worried Arya was about to be canceled on her first day, stepped in. Jackson, Arya, have you two met before? Yes, no. The two answers came at the same time. The air went still as Jackson and Arya stared at each other, confused. Jackson looked hurt. You don't remember? On the street in Sterling City? You saved that man's life. It all came flooding back to Arya. Oh, it was you. I'm so sorry. You were wearing a mask. I didn't recognize you. Jackson's face brightened. It's okay. Seeing that Arya was about to be redeemed, Scarlett couldn't stand it. Arya is just so kind-hearted, she said in a sickly sweet voice. I'm sure she has a very good reason for being so late today. Her fans immediately chimed in. Yeah, right. Late is late. What a spoiled, rude princess. Arya saw right through Scarlett's little game. You picked the wrong person to mess with. I didn't want to worry anyone, Arya said calmly. But since you're so curious, why don't you check the news? One look at the news and Scarlett's face turned green. She instantly regretted opening her mouth. The Sterling City Police Department's official social media had just posted a commendation, thanking a courageous citizen, Miss Arya Laurent, for her bravery. It turned out Arya and Chloe were late because they had stopped at a traffic accident on the bridge where a man was threatening to harm his own daughter to force his ex-wife to get back together with him. The quick thinking Arya had used her hypnosis to distract him for a split second, then disarmed and subdued him with lightning speed, saving the little girl. With her stunning looks and impressive skills, Arya instantly won over a legion of new fans, and the story went viral. The mood in the live chat completely shifted, with everyone joining Jackson in calling her beautiful. Scarlett was furious, watching Arya's popularity explode. Arya walked over to Scarlett and added salt to the wound. Why the long face? Are you worried about me after seeing the video? Don't be, I'm fine. Suddenly she noticed a familiar black Rolls-Royce in the background of the news footage. It was the car belonging to the original male lead of the novel. He must have been there too. In the story, he eventually became one of Evelyn's allies and helped take down the original Arya. She wondered how things were progressing between him and Evelyn, and hoped that her heroic act had at least left a good impression on him. But she was also a little worried. She had used her abilities in a moment of crisis, and she hoped it hadn't drawn any unwanted attention. Meanwhile, inside that very same Rolls-Royce, someone was looking at the trending topics. Mr. Shaw, that girl who saved the kid is really something. Looks like she's some kind of celebrity. No wonder she's so pretty. The man in the back seat, dressed in a sharp suit, just chuckled. So young, yet already skilled in martial arts and hypnosis. That girl is interesting. A young man questions Arya's identity, wondering if she could be the person Mr. Shaw is looking for. Ethan Shaw scoffs, saying it's impossible, yet his hand is secretly showering the girl with gifts. On the other side of the screen, Leo is staring at his own monitor, practically shouting, "Someone just outbid you for our sister's top spot." Evelyn gives him a cold look. "She's my sister. When did she become yours?" Leo shrinks under her gaze, quickly apologizing and begging for mercy. But the immediate issue was finding out who had stolen his boss's #1 spot. "It doesn't matter who it is, I just have to take it back," Evelyn says, full of confidence. Leo is confused. Why was his boss sending Arya gifts and helping her trend online to clear her name? Had she forgotten about the two-faced brat from before? Evelyn snaps that Arya is her sister, not some brat. As for the trending topic, she claims it wasn't her doing. It was the mysterious hacker, Quest. Leo is shocked. He immediately suspects Quest has bad intentions and begs Evelyn to help him get revenge for being hacked before. But Evelyn just says she can't beat him. No, boss, you're being modest. You're the #1 hacker on the dark web." Leo heaps on the praise, but Evelyn is unmoved. It's only when Leo mentions that Quest might be after Arya that Evelyn's fighting spirit ignites. Just as they let their guard down, Evelyn's top spot is snatched again, this time by someone with the username Ethan Shaw. This person was clearly looking for trouble. Evelyn is furious. "You dare make a move on my sister? Just you wait." She quickly reclaims the #1 spot. Meanwhile, the show's director, seeing the streaming numbers, immediately pairs Arya and Jackson King together. The first game is harvesting wheat in the golden autumn fields. To everyone's surprise, Arya, the pampered young lady, is a natural, and she's even better at catching fish in the river. In contrast, Scarlett, also a young lady of status, is a complete mess. Arya and Chloe work together seamlessly while cooking, their sisterly bond so sweet you can't help but love it. Seeing them gain countless fans while she gets ignored, a certain someone decides to stir up trouble again. She sidles up to Caleb, saying sweetly, "I'm not as good at cooking as my sister. You'll have to make do with this." The two of them then put on a show of being a loving couple for the cameras. Some of her clueless fans immediately start attacking Chloe online. Chloe just stands there, staring at the disgusting pair, her peaceful mood completely shattered. Arya notices her distress and immediately steps in to comfort her. "Chloe, the food you made is delicious. I'm so glad it's for me and not for some ungrateful dog." Arya's words are pointed, and Chloe gets it, but the public doesn't know who the ungrateful dog really is. Arya knows that to truly heal her cousin's heart, she has to expose Caleb and Scarlett as the cheater and the other woman. She pats Chloe's shoulder reassuringly, telling her she's about to reveal the truth to everyone and clear her name. Arya gets an idea. She raises her hand to get everyone's attention. "Hey everyone, To liven things up, let's play a little game while we eat. How about truth or dare? I'm sure no one here has any dark secrets they're afraid to share, right? The ones with something to hide immediately panic, but force a smile. It's just a game. No big deal, nothing to be afraid of. The game starts, and Arya gets lucky, drawing the highest card. Chloe, trusting Arya not to screw her over, chooses truth. But Arya's first question is a bombshell. Chloe, are you still in love with Caleb? Chloe is silent. She knows public opinion is already against her and that clearing her name won't be easy. But this is the perfect chance to cut ties with them for good. She can't back down. She lifts her head and responds confidently. Who would love a cheating scumbag? Caleb is so flustered he just wants the round to be over. But Scarlett, full of arrogance, accuses Chloe of slandering them out of bitterness after being rejected. Most people online believe Scarlett's lies and she looks smug, not realizing she's walked right into Arya's trap. Arya's real goal was to get her enemies to lower their guard so she could hypnotize them. The game continues. Arya draws again, and once more, it's the highest card. Caleb, with the lowest card, has to choose a dare. A small smile plays on Arya's lips as she lightly taps the deck, the pattern on the back of the card's almost dizzying to look at. Her voice is soft. Your dare is to show everyone the photo from this exact day last year in your camera roll. Without realizing it, Caleb is hypnotized. He obediently hands over his phone without a struggle. Arya takes it, opens his photo gallery, and gasps dramatically. Oh my god, Caleb, didn't you say Scarlett was your first love? Then why were you hugging my cousin Chloe on Valentine's Day last year? The camera zooms in on Caleb's phone, showing him in an intimate pose with Chloe. Public opinion instantly flips, and everyone starts speculating that Scarlett is the real homewrecker. Seeing the incriminating photos, Caleb snaps out of his trance as if doused with cold water. Scarlett's face turns ugly, and she slaps him hard across the face, screaming at him for keeping photos with Chloe. What was supposed to be a peaceful countryside reality show suddenly turns into a trashy drama. The director immediately steps in, kicking the toxic couple off the set and demanding they pay a hefty penalty for breach of contract. Their pathetic pleas are useless. Finally, the truth is out, and Chloe's name is cleared. Arya is thrilled. Chloe, look! Everyone knows what they're really like now. And so many people are apologizing to you. Chloe takes Arya's phone. Seeing the messages of support, she tears up with relief. She sincerely thanks Arya for her help, finally understanding why Arya had insisted she come on the show. Arya gives her a playful wink, shamelessly taking credit. But Chloe still has one question. How did she know Caleb would have those photos on his phone? Arya brushes it off as a lucky guess. She certainly couldn't tell her cousin that she had Evelyn's pet hacker restore Caleb's deleted photo album. With that in mind, she knew who she really had to thank. She dials Leo's number to thank him. Without his help, clearing Chloe's name would have been much harder. But to her surprise, a familiar cold chuckle answers the phone. So, you only call Leo when you need help with other sisters? Crap, she's obviously mad. Arya quickly changes the subject. Sis, did you confiscate Leo's phone for slacking off at work? I'll be sure to teach him a lesson for you later. Evelyn goes along with it, her voice cold. That's right. A certain someone was slacking off, busy restoring some male celebrity's photo album. Leo, who was also in the room, began to tremble. Evelyn was angry because her sister had gone to an outsider for help instead of coming to her. Arya quickly explained that she was just worried about tiring Evelyn out, but she did thank her for helping her get on the trending list after the rescue. Evelyn pauses, lost in thought. It seems she also doesn't know that Quest was the one who helped her. Evelyn needs to find out what that guy's intentions are. But for now, it's better that Arya doesn't know. Evelyn smiles. So since I helped you, how are you going to thank me? Make a wish, sis. I'll do anything you want. Her words instantly improve Evelyn's mood. I'll let you know when I think of something. No problem. Get some rest, sis, Arya says, quickly hanging up. Boss, the little fairy definitely sees me as one of you guys. She just wants to be closer to us. Leo tries to argue, but Evelyn shuts him down. You're not one of us. You're a tool. Leo decides to drop the painful topic. Boss, that guy from the Shaw family just got back in the country. He was the one fighting you for the little fairy's top supporter spot on the stream today. Evelyn wonders if he's managed to track her down. Ethan Shaw has been trying to find her since last year, but has never found a single lead. She isn't worried, confident that he's not skilled enough to find her. After finishing her work, Evelyn gets ready for bed. Ever since that incident years ago, she's suffered from severe insomnia. She might be a miracle doctor to the outside world, but she couldn't cure her own psychological wounds. Just then, her phone vibrates. It's a message from Arya with a cute emoji. Evelyn's gaze softens. She opens the voice note. The sound of a girl's soft, sweet singing voice, accompanied by a light piano melody and the chirping of cicadas, fills the room. It was like a heavenly melody. Arya had sung her a lullaby. Evelyn stares at the screen, lost in thought. After a long moment, she types out good, then deletes it, worried Arya would find her too cold. She changes it to 2 words. Sweet dreams. She lies down, putting the lullaby on a loop. But the thought of Asher, that other boy trying to steal her sister's affection, makes her angry again. Childishly, she sends a screenshot of their chat to Asher. In a dimly lit bedroom, a young man clutches his phone, his eyes fixed on the screen, a darkness in them deeper than the night. Evelyn's message was a blatant provocation. Without hesitation, Asher blocks her. After calming himself, he opens his chat with Arya. The conversation history is completely blank. He tells himself it's fine and tosses his phone aside. But his mind is filled with thoughts of her. He picks it up again and dials her number. Arya. Asher instantly drops his warm, innocent facade and switches into his manipulative, sweet talker mode. I was thinking about you so much I couldn't sleep and your piano playing, but I'm so sorry for bothering you this late. You should get some rest. Every word tugs at Arya's heartstrings. She's starting to understand why men fall for these types of personalities. She's falling for it herself. Without a second thought, she sends him the lullaby she recorded earlier. Asher is thrilled. Thank you, Arya. Good night. After hanging up, he immediately forwards the chat history to Evelyn. For one reason only, to show off. I got one too, and mine's longer than yours. Suddenly, he remembers he forgot to warn her about that actor. He quickly sends another text. Arya just smiles awkwardly. My little blood bag is quite the worrier. Jackson King is probably just infatuated with me for the moment. But that seems to be wishful thinking. The top celebrity has already turned into a clingy fanboy. Little fairy, let's be partners. At the same time, Chloe also asks Arya to team up with her. Arya looks at Chloe, thinking that to help her get better, she needs to interact with more people. So she agrees to Jackson's invitation. Chloe is clearly a little disappointed. Arya notices and leans in close, teasing, Cousin, don't tell me you can't live without me. Chloe blushes as if her secret has been exposed. Who can't live without you? In that case, we'll head out first. Good luck, Chloe. Try to keep up. Arya grabs a small basket and starts walking. Jackson scurries after her, offering to carry her basket, but Arya refuses without even thinking. Not to be deterred, Jackson tries again. Little fairy, let me help you with your hat. Arya can't refuse his persistence and thanks him. Meanwhile, Chloe is also making good progress with her own partner, and Arya is happy to see it. The final task of the day is to find a rare type of mushroom. In the end, Arya, Jackson, and Chloe's team wins, becoming this season's champions. On the way home, Arya smiles at Chloe. So, cousin, was the show fun? It was. Chloe admits, thanking Arya sincerely. You made me realize how many people are quietly supporting me, especially Grandpa. He's already had Scarlett and Caleb blacklisted. As she speaks, a tear escapes her eye. Arya reaches out and wipes it away. I just gave you a little push. You're the one who did all the hard work. You're amazing. Chloe gets a little embarrassed. You smooth talker, we're at your house. Get out of the car. Arya gets out, grinning, and adds, I meant every word I said just now. Don't forget, I'm one of your supporters, too. The ice around Chloe's heart finally melts completely. Arya is in a great mood, strutting up to her front door, but she freezes as if she's seen a ghost. Evelyn and Asher are waiting for her. Evelyn's voice is laced with sarcasm. Had enough fun with your other sister? Finally decided to come home? Asher stands beside her, looking downcast and sad. Arya, you're finally back. Arya is startled by the scene, feeling like she's just been caught cheating. With both her powerful sister and her possessive brother jealous, Arya quickly pulls out gifts to appease them. Sis, I got this especially for you. Evelyn opens the exquisite little box to find a bottle of perfume. She's curious why Arya would think to get her this. That region is famous for its flowers, and this perfume has a calming effect. Evelyn sniffs it, but her expression darkens slightly. She mutters under her breath, You didn't make this. Arya laughs awkwardly. It's a new release from the brand Daydream in that region. She's also confused. Why would Evelyn ask that? She may have been a perfumer in her past life, but the original Arya had never been exposed to it. Arya can't figure out what her sister is thinking and assumes she doesn't like it. Evelyn just says, It's fine, and slips it into her pocket. Asher, watching their sisterly moment, feels a pang of jealousy. Arya, what about me? He asks sadly. Of course I got you something too. His gift is a huge box, different from Evelyn's. Thank you, Arya, for getting me such a big present, Asher says, deliberately raising his voice. Evelyn is so annoyed by his childishness she could scream. Asher excitedly opens the gift, but his face falls. A massive set of college entrance exam prep books. Thanks, Arya, I guess. You're welcome. I hear all the geniuses use these, Arya says, her smile as bright as the sun. Evelyn looks at the thick stack of books in his hands and can't help but laugh. After handing out the gifts, Arya quickly retreats to her room. Evelyn, satisfied, starts to head to her own room, perfume in her pocket, but Asher's voice stops her. I'll give you the underground shipping route in the southern region. Give me the perfume. Evelyn leans against the door frame and chuckles. You've been hiding that one well. She toys with the perfume bottle, a mocking look in her eyes. A perfume that costs a few thousand for a shipping route worth $2 billion. Sounds like a good deal. But unfortunately for you, I already have a way to get that route. I'm not interested. However, if you're willing to trade that half bottle of Anyang you have, we have a deal. Asher scoffs. In your dreams! Evelyn knew he wouldn't agree. Then we have nothing to talk about. She turns and walks away. Asher watches her go, a strange, sinister glint in his eyes. The next morning, the sound of a piano fills the room. That's all for today's stream. Thanks for watching and for all the gifts. After the stream, Arya feels refreshed. The original villainess's little-known account has turned out to be a great way to make money. But this is just a temporary solution. She'll have to leave the Laurent family eventually, so she needs to find a more sustainable source of income. Perfumery and jewelry design are too expensive for her to even consider right now, and the original Arya didn't have a medical license. As she's brainstorming, a knock on the door interrupts her. Asher pushes the door open, looking like an obedient puppy. Arya gets up to greet him. What are you doing here? I missed you, so I came to see you. As he gets closer, she notices a faint, calming scent on him. Are you wearing perfume? Arya looks up at him in surprise. Asher nods slightly. Do you like it? Arya takes a sniff, her expression serious. It's really nice. The person who made it must be a genius. What's it called? Asher's gaze rests on Arya's delicate face, as if he's looking at her but also remembering something else. Anyang. Arya feels a strange pang in her chest. Asher leans in closer. What's with that expression, Arya? Did you remember something? Arya is desperate to know which master perfumer created Anyang and who could sell it to Asher. He lowers his eyes, claiming it was a gift from a very important person from his past. Since it was a gift from an old friend, how could I put a price on it? Arya feels like she's overstepped. Just as she's about to apologize, a maid interrupts. Miss, your mother is looking for you. Arya drops the subject of the perfume and hurries downstairs to find her mother. Asher watches her go, the light in his eyes dimming with every step she takes, until they're completely dark. He whispers, Anyang, it's not a good name at all. Downstairs, Celine is waiting for Arya. Evelyn is on the other side of the sofa, focused on a game on her phone. Seeing Arya, Celine hands her an invitation. The patriarch of the Tang family has recovered from his illness, and they're throwing a celebratory banquet. Arya's eyes light up. She knows this scene. In the original story, Celine despised Evelyn and didn't bring her. But Evelyn showed up anyway, and Celine tried to scold her in public, only to be shut down by Mr. Tang himself, who treated Evelyn as a guest of honor. In the end, Evelyn was even invited to dance by the mysterious male lead from the capital. Arya knows this whole face-slapping plot is directed at her. To save her own skin, she should probably refuse to go. But before she can, Celine explains, I pulled some strings to get this invitation. I want to ask Mr. Tang to introduce you to the miracle doctor to treat your illness. Arya's heart sinks. With her knowledge of the plot, she can't exactly tell her mother that the great doctor she's looking for is the very daughter she despises. But it's a kind gesture from her mother, so she accepts gratefully. Just as Arya is about to suggest they bring the great doctor with them, Celine speaks first. Evelyn, you're so withdrawn and antisocial. You should stay home tonight. Evelyn just gives a cold, oh. Seeing this, Arya rushes to Evelyn's defense. Of course she's going. She's the real Laurent heiress. If she doesn't go, then I have even less right to be there. Celine finally relents, but on one condition, Evelyn has to behave. Evelyn just raises an eyebrow. I'm not going. She had already turned down Mr. Tang's invitation. Going now would be embarrassing. Celine is about to explode, but Arya quickly grabs her sister's hand and activates her pitiful green tea charm. Are you really not going, sis? Evelyn hesitates, moved by Arya's innocent expression. If you don't go, I'll be all alone. The cool and aloof Evelyn blushes. Your mom will be with you. No, mom can't be with me the whole time. What if someone tries to bully me? Arya says, on the verge of tears. Evelyn knows she's faking it, but she can't bring herself to refuse. Fine. Arya is overjoyed and throws her arms around Evelyn. I knew you were the best, sis. Celine scoffs, about to say something snarky, but seeing Arya's bright smile, she holds her tongue. If you're going, then hurry up and go buy some new clothes and jewelry. Don't embarrass the Laurent family. Evelyn just gives a soft, oh. Celine's patience wears thin. Oh, can you say anything else? Evelyn obediently switches to meh. Celine continues to lecture her, and Evelyn just alternates between O and M. Arya feels a headache coming on. Can this mother-daughter relationship get any more awkward? The three of them go shopping. And to Arya's surprise, her mother takes them to a commercial district owned by Evelyn. She freezes for a second. Celine thinks she doesn't like it, but Arya quickly denies it, saying she was just stunned by how luxurious it was. Beside her, Evelyn lets out a small snort. Remembering any secrets about this place? Like who the mysterious boss behind it is? She asks, testing her. Arya just laughs awkwardly and changes the subject. Luckily, Evelyn doesn't press the issue and seems to be in a good mood. Evelyn notices Arya staring at her. What are you looking at? Arya, feeling a little guilty, starts laying on the compliments. You, sis. You're so beautiful when you smile. Evelyn blushes and quickly walks ahead. Soon they're in a high-end boutique. When Arya comes out in a light blue dress, Celine's eyes light up. Beautiful, we'll take it. Evelyn reluctantly tries on a white dress. And Arya can't help but gush. You look so pretty, sis. Celine blushes, trying to look nonchalant. It's okay. We'll take that one too. Arya tries on countless other dresses, with her mother and sister giving her constant thumbs up. After a marathon of bye, Arya is exhausted. But the thought of mending her mother and sister's relationship makes it all worth it. But just then, it looks like they're about to start fighting again. This family would fall apart without me, Arya thinks. The little angel quickly steps in to put out the fire. It turns out Evelyn doesn't want to try on a dress her mother picked out. She has a I'm a cool girl, I don't wear that stuff look on her face. But a moment later, under Arya's sweet-talking assault, she caves. Just this once, never again. She grabs the dress and heads to the fitting room. After a moment of internal struggle, considering Arya's efforts and Celine's contribution to her sales figures, Evelyn changes into the sparkling blue dress. The second it's on, she sighs. It really doesn't suit her. Just as she's about to change back, Arya calls out, Sis, you're done? Why didn't you call me? Are you shy? Evelyn turns to retort, but her eyes accidentally meet two sneaky figures outside the door. She's mortified. Her two underlings are equally stunned. Oh no, we caught the boss wearing a pretty dress. What do we do? Someone help! Thanks to Arya, Evelyn's cool image shatters in front of her underlings. She shoots them a look and they immediately cower. Arya tries to make a run for it, but Evelyn grabs her. Wait, we need to talk. Arya's heart drops. I'm done for. But then she gets an idea. She looks at the two unlucky guys outside. No matter what, I have to drag them down with me. She hugs her sister and says sweetly, Sis, those two are peeking at you from the door. They must love that dress on you. Why don't we invite them in to try it on? Arya blinks innocently at her sister. Evelyn's heart immediately softens. She lets Arya off the hook and turns her glare on the two guys outside. Just then, Celine shoves a black dress at Evelyn. If you don't like it, then change. Stop looking so gloomy. Seeing that the mother and daughter are no longer at each other's throats, Arya figures the banquet will go smoothly. But of course, something goes wrong. At the party, the original story's villainous Judy immediately starts making snide remarks. Arya, what's that country bumpkin doing here? Did she bully you? Arya just gives an awkward smile. In the book, these two were best friends who constantly stirred up trouble and got slapped down together. Arya worries history will repeat itself and knows she has to stop her. Or at least keep herself from getting dragged down too. Arya makes a quick decision and uses her professional hypnosis on Judy. My sister is very good to me. She would never bully me. She's very important to me, so don't misunderstand her and definitely don't bully her. Finally, Judy is successfully hypnotized and agrees to Arya's request. However, the whole exchange is witnessed by Ethan Shaw and his assistant. The assistant urges him to go over and try to win the girl over. But Ethan just sighs. Don't forget why we're here today. The assistant gives up. I know, I'll keep an eye on the VIP section. We have to find that miracle doctor this time. On the other side of the room, Evelyn is about to head to the VIP section when she's rudely stopped by the Tang family's daughter. This is the VIP section, for guests personally invited by my grandfather. A country bumpkin like you has no business here. Judy points out that Evelyn is being harassed. Arya, knowing the script, realizes her own face-slapping scene has passed. She pulls Judy aside to watch the show. It's fine, my sister can handle this. Evelyn spots the two of them watching. Not wanting to make a scene initially, she now deliberately pulls out Mr. Tang's VIP invitation. Is this how the Tang family treats its honored guests? The Tang daughter looks down her nose at her, refusing to believe Evelyn could have her grandfather's invitation. The other guests start murmuring, criticizing the girl for being rude and uncultured. Humiliated, she lashes out. Your own family's precious daughter is a fake. What makes you think that invitation is real? Hearing this, Evelyn gets angry. What did you just call my sister? Tiffany Tang won't let it go, insisting Arya is an imposter, and mocking Evelyn as a country bumpkin. Evelyn just scoffs. You're nothing but a dog. Tiffany is furious. Evelyn approaches her, her face like ice. You're just a watchdog who bullies people. Today I'm going to teach you how to shut your mouth. Tiffany shoves Evelyn's hand away and warns her, don't get cocky just because you faked your way in here. I'm a Tang and the entire Tang family has my back. Just then, Celine storms over, pulling Evelyn behind her and shouting at Tiffany, Evelyn and Arya are both my children. Who are you to say anything about them? This unexpected defense warms Evelyn's heart. She's long since stopped caring about the gossip, but the support of her family, especially her sister, feels good. But Tiffany is still shouting for her grandfather to kick them out. Arya, knowing what's coming, is ready for the show. Not far away, Liam excitedly points out to Ethan Shaw, Mr. Shaw, that sister is standing up for Evelyn. He's confused. Weren't the real and fake heiresses supposed to be mortal enemies? Ethan rolls his eyes. You watch too many trashy dramas. It's rotting your brain. Liam ignores him, thinking to himself, both sisters are so pretty. Which one should I try to pursue? Ethan, hearing this, gets strangely annoyed. He looks at Liam with a dark expression. You want to pursue them? In your next life. Liam finally senses his boss's strange mood and drops the idea. Ethan looks over at Evelyn and says to Liam, she's the one we're looking for. Finally, hearing the commotion, Mr. Tang arrives, his face grim. Tiffany rushes over to tattle, but she's run right into a storm. Her grandfather silences her and has security drag her away. He then hurries over to Evelyn to apologize. Miss Laurent, it's my failure as a parent that she has offended you. Please tell me how you wish to handle this. Seeing Mr. Tang treat Evelyn with such respect, the guests begin to whisper. So Evelyn really is an honored guest. Who is she? And what's the deal with the two Laurent heiresses? Hearing the chatter, Evelyn frowns. Not wanting Arya to be talked about anymore, she hints to Mr. Tang, it's up to my sister. If the Tang family can't even handle this small matter, then I don't want to stay either. Evelyn was trying to give her sister some face, but Mr. Tang completely misunderstands. He had heard from his friend that the miracle doctor had a tragic past and was tormented by her two-faced sister. He thinks Evelyn wants him to punish Arya. He points a finger at Arya and declares, the one who should leave is this person who's trying to usurp Miss Evelyn's rightful place. Arya is stunned. Am I really destined to be the villain in this scene no matter what I do? Evelyn is also furious at Mr. Tang's incredible lack of comprehension. Evelyn is angry. She won't let anyone bully Arya. Just as she's about to explain, she notices something odd about Mr. Tang's expression. The next moment, he's rushing over to Arya, grabbing her hand excitedly. My savior, I can't believe I'm seeing you here today. Arya is completely bewildered. The novel didn't say anything about this old guy having split personalities. It turns out the old man Arya saved on the street was Mr. Tang. Oh, it was you, Arya finally realizes. After they exchange pleasantries, Mr. Tang asks which family Arya belongs to. At that moment, Evelyn steps forward. She is my sister, Arya Laurent, the one you were just trying to kick out. Mr. Tang is mortified. In one fell swoop, he's managed to offend both of his saviors. Evelyn immediately wraps an arm around Arya's shoulder, once again coming to her defense. Arya is my sister. Insulting her is insulting me. Hearing this, Mr. Tang quickly apologizes to Arya and promises to grant her any request. Arya is gracious, saying she won't hold it against him. But Tiffany Tang must apologize to her sister. Mr. Tang agrees without hesitation, promising to bring his granddaughter to their home to apologize in person. Evelyn's heart warms. It feels good to have her sister defend her like this. With the matter resolved, Celine lets out a sigh of relief. Seeing the two sisters stand up for each other, she thinks that maybe it's time for her to let go of her own prejudices against Evelyn. Arya is thrilled that Tiffany will be apologizing to her sister. She doesn't care about the rumors, all that matters to her is Evelyn. As she's smiling happily, she feels a mysterious gaze on her back. The face-slapping incident is over, but she stole the original male lead scene. She hopes he isn't mad. Evelyn sees Ethan Shaw's handsome face and her internal alarms go off. She can't let such a dangerous person get near her sister. She tells Arya to stay put, and goes to deal with him herself. Little does she know, Arya is hoping she'll go, so the plot can progress, and she and the male lead can have their moment. Ethan Shaw is pleased to finally meet the miracle doctor. He smiles and greets her. But Evelyn is not swayed by his good looks. Cut the small talk. Get to the point. Ethan smirks. Let's make a deal. The patient has been in a coma for 10 years. Evelyn was here to catch a big fish, and now that one's on the hook, she doesn't hold back. The underground shipping route in the southern region. Ethan is silent for a moment, then readily agrees. Evelyn knows there must be another condition. A strange smile plays on Ethan's lips as he pulls out his phone. I'd like to add you on social media, Miss Laurent. Evelyn warns Ethan Shaw to stay away from her sister. Ethan is stunned, but for some reason, he finds her protective attitude kind of cute. Miss Laurent, I was asking for your contact info. The awkwardness is palpable, but Evelyn, ever proud, just pulls out her own phone and lets him scan her code. With the main couple's first meeting a success, Arya is ecstatic. Now, it's time for the cannon fodder to move the plot along. Victoria Shue glares at Evelyn, cursing her under her breath. But Evelyn, busy chatting happily with her sister, doesn't even notice. Victoria approaches them. Miss Laurent? Evelyn glances at her disdainfully. Do I know you? Victoria's voice is laced with sarcasm. You just came from the countryside, of course you haven't seen me before. Evelyn doesn't give her the time of day. Then there's no need for us to meet in the future either. Unable to get a rise out of Evelyn, Victoria turns on Arya. You're new to high society, and Evelyn isn't even introducing you to anyone. I was just trying to include you both. This attempt to drive a wedge between them annoys Arya. She immediately retorts, Are you suggesting I'm deliberately isolating my sister? I just think we should prioritize clearing up the misunderstandings about her. Or would you rather she make friends with the initial impression of being a liar? Victoria is speechless, not giving up. She tries another tactic, suggesting a piano duel between Evelyn and Arya to humiliate Evelyn in public. Arya sees right through her and is about to refuse when Evelyn steps up, admitting she's no match for her sister. In fact, no one can match her sister's piano skills. Victoria presses on. In that case, do you dare to compete against me? Evelyn grabs Arya's hand. Do you dare to compete against my sister? Arya accepts the challenge without hesitation. I'd be happy to fight for my sister's honor. Victoria's arrogant demeanor instantly deflates. Arya, why are you siding with Evelyn today? What kind of question is that? If I don't help my sister, should I help you? So what's the competition? You ungrateful brat, who wants to compete with you? Victoria says, then turns and runs. Arya laughs at her cowardice. She then turns back to Evelyn. Sis, don't listen to her nonsense. I'll introduce you to my friends right now. She waves over to Judy and the crowd. Judy hurries over, followed by a handsome young man. The young man greets Arya. Arya, it's been a while. Arya immediately recognizes him as Felix, the childhood friend who had a crush on the original villainess. Evelyn's dark eyes flicker toward Felix. Her jealousy meter is going off again. Another one after my sister. Arya knows that for unrequited feelings, a clean break is the kindest option. So in front of everyone, she deliberately says she likes younger guys who are sweet and obedient. As soon as the words are out, Evelyn's mind flashes to that annoying Asher. Could my sister like that two-faced brat? Felix, hearing this, feels his hope turn to disappointment. Arya, do you really only like the puppy dog type? The confession he was about to make gets stuck in his throat. Evelyn strides over to him. She doesn't like your type. You're out. Felix's eyes flash with anger. He shouts at Evelyn, What does this have to do with you? Evelyn puts an arm around Arya's shoulder, staking her claim. I'm her sister, her family. I'm not like you. Felix scoffs. You're the one who got her engagement broken, and you have the nerve to say that? Arya is stunned. Oh, thanks a lot. I just managed to dodge a bullet, and now you're making me look bad. She steps in front of Evelyn. I don't even care about the broken engagement. What right do you have to bring it up? Seeing Arya get angry, Felix panics. Before he can apologize, Arya turns and storms off. With her sister clearly not interested in Felix, Evelyn finally smiles. Just then, a slender hand appears in front of her. Ethan Shaw approaches with a smile. Seeing your smile, Miss Laurent, I couldn't help but want to ask you for a dance. Evelyn, not wanting to ruin her relationship with the big fish she's just caught, accepts his invitation. Arya watches them dance, her heart soaring. Yes, the main couple is finally getting together, and I dodged the drama. All my hard work paid off. Just then, Felix catches up to her, apologizing profusely for what he said. Arya wasn't really angry to begin with, and seeing how sincere he is, she easily forgives him. Felix breathes a sigh of relief. After tonight, we probably won't see each other for a while. School is starting soon. You'll have to study for entrance exams, and I don't want to bother you. His words hit Arya like a ton of bricks. She had completely forgotten. She's been out of school for years, but the original Arya was a top student. To keep her cover, she immediately buries herself in studying. So focused, she doesn't even notice Asher's presence, until he gently blocks the light over her book. Asher, what are you doing here? Asher smiles. I saw you looked troubled and was worried. If something's wrong, I can help. Arya immediately refuses Asher's offer of help. Disappointed that he can't help his sister, Asher looks a little sad. Seeing how sensitive he is, Arya quickly explains, I'm just stressed because I haven't finished my homework. Hearing this, Asher immediately perks up and offers to study with her. Arya panics. What's gotten into him today? Seeing that she's hesitant, Asher puts on his best sad puppy face. I promise I won't bother you. Please? Arya's heart starts racing and her face flushes. She can't resist his pleading and finally agrees. Asher happily takes her hand, calling her Arya, over and over. Arya, let's start studying. His handsome face so close to hers makes her stare, mesmerized. But the next second he pulls away like a startled puppy, apologizing profusely. Arya tells him it's fine, but her heart is pounding in her throat. Just then her phone rings, saving her. She grabs it and runs outside, needing to cool down. In this atmosphere, how could she possibly study? Asher watches her run off, a knowing smile on his face. A moment later, he hears footsteps. Thinking Arya has returned, his face lights up, but it immediately falls when he sees Evelyn. What are you doing here? Eavesdropping? He asks, his tone sharp. Evelyn just smirks. Done with the act? Asher chuckles, his voice full of provocation. You're jealous that I can be so close to her. Evelyn retorts. Me? Jealous of you? No matter what, she loves me as her sister. Unlike you, who has to resort to shameless tricks just to stay by her side. Asher's eyes darken. As long as it lets me spend more time with her, I don't mind being a little shameless. Besides, do you really think she holds no grudges against you? Evelyn is instantly enraged. What do you mean? A triumphant smile spreads across Asher's face. Once the news of her broken engagement gets out, it will affect her future relationships, all because of you. Do you think she'll still treat you the same way then? This is my chance to get even closer to her while you'll only grow further apart. She'll soon realize that I'm the only one who will never ever hurt her. On the other side of the house, Arya frowns at a text message. Who's Derek? It took her a moment to remember that he was the former fiancé of the villainess in the original story. A minor character who was dealt with so quickly, he didn't even get a proper face-slapping scene. She figures he must be up to no good, and plays his voice message. Arya, even though we grew up together, I don't want to marry Evelyn. Just as she's listening, she sees Evelyn up ahead. She happily runs toward her, forgetting the voice message is still playing. Derek's narcissistic voice fills the air. Arya quickly closes the app. What is wrong with this guy? Is he trying to cause trouble with this long voice message? She looks back at Evelyn awkwardly, only to see her sister's dark expression. Her heart drops. Does she think I'm still in love with Derek and everything I've done for her was just an act? Knowing Derek is still obsessed with her sister, Evelyn can't contain her rage, seeing her sister's thunderous expression. Arya panics. She can't let her leave with this misunderstanding. She lunges forward and wraps her arms around Evelyn. Don't go, sis, I can explain. I have nothing to do with that Derek guy. You're the most important person to me. Please don't push me away because of someone who doesn't matter. Seeing the fear and anxiety in Arya's eyes, Evelyn's heart softens. She affectionately pats Arya's head. I never planned on pushing you away. Hearing this, Arya's smile returns. However, Asher, who has been hiding in a corner, is overflowing with jealousy. Evelyn deliberately walks over to him to rub it in. You hear that? I'm the one she cares about most. Asher opens his mouth, but he has no comeback. He can only watch as Evelyn walks away, smug. And thank you for the reminder. The Vance family really needs to be dealt with. Asher instinctively asks what she plans to do, but Evelyn just says, none of your business, and walks away. Asher watches her go, a bitter taste in his mouth. He silently vows that no one will solve his sister's problems before he does. The man behind my sister can only be me. He takes out his phone and logs into the dark web. The next day, bombshell news rocks the business world. The Vance Corporation was hacked, exposing over $1 billion in tax evasion. The news sends their stock price plummeting. Sharp-eyed netizens recognize the gold-rimmed blood drop logo and deduce that the perpetrator is the top-tier hacker, Quest. Mr. and Mrs. Laurent see the news and cheer. Serves them right. That's what they get for messing with our Arya. Arya is also pleased, but can't help but wonder, what's the deal with this Quest guy? She quickly messages Leo, asking if the gold-rimmed blood drop logo is exclusive to Quest. After Leo confirms it is, Arya is even more confused. She has no connection to Quest, so why would he help her? Is it just a coincidence? As she's lost in thought, a voice behind her makes her jump. Thinking about Quest? Arya turns to see Evelyn and breathes a sigh of relief. I'm just curious why he would get involved. Evelyn casually makes up a reason. Maybe the Vances offended someone powerful, and they hired Quest to take them down. Arya thinks about it and decides it makes sense, so she drops the subject. Just then, the door bursts open, and a cheerful voice calls out, Sis, I'm home! The young man's eyes go wide as if he's seen a ghost. He points at Evelyn and demands, What are you doing here? Arya feels a headache coming on. Why is her unpredictable brother suddenly back? Seeing her goofy brother home unexpectedly, Arya feels her head throb. Peter grins and hands Arya a gift. Sis, this is the newest model from your favorite brand. Celine quietly comes up behind him. Is that the only gift you brought? Peter jumps, but luckily he came prepared. Mom, my dorm mates and I spent all night picking out this lipstick shade for you. Dad, I spent the last of my allowance on this tie clip for you. Peter imagines his heartfelt gifts will move his parents to give him a huge allowance, but reality hits him like a splash of cold water. Celine scolds him. You spent all night picking out this hideous Barbie pink? His dad chimes in. You just want more allowance, don't you? Peter is crushed. This is not how he imagined this would go. Celine scoffs and transfers allowance money to all three of them. 2 notifications for 100,000 and 1 for 5,000 are heard. Peter, happy as a clam, assumes he got one of the 100,000 transfers, but he's shocked to find he only got 5,000. He's furious and shouts at Evelyn, "Why does she get so much?" Celine retorts, "Girls need makeup and pretty dresses. Isn't it normal for them to get more? Besides, did you bring your older sister a gift?" Peter throws his arms around Arya, declaring he only has one sister. Arya doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. She knew this idiot was just here to cause trouble. While Arya is checking her phone, Peter has already gone to provoke Evelyn. Evelyn just says one word, scram. Arya is happily looking at her phone. It's a message from Caroline, who has finished the Angel series designs and wants to meet. Peter, angered by Evelyn's indifference, explodes. This is my house! You're the one who should scram! He turns to Arya. Right, sis? Arya instinctively replies, no. Peter's world shatters. Why isn't my sister on my side? Arya has no time for him. She excitedly pulls Evelyn back to her room to tell her about Caroline's message and invites her to the meeting, hoping to create an opportunity for the main couple to interact. And Evelyn, to her delight, readily agrees. The three of them are waiting at the restaurant. Evelyn is calm, but Arya is a little nervous. Suddenly, Evelyn gets up to go to the restroom. Arya looks up, her heart fluttering. The boss must be going to meet the male lead. She decides to sneak out and watch the show. In the hallway, Evelyn frowns. Mr. Shaw, what was so important that you had to meet me in person? Ethan Shaw's tone is gentle. I just happened to see you, Miss Laurent. I wasn't sure, so I wanted to get a closer look. Evelyn's face is cold. Mr. Shaw, you should see an eye doctor. Can I make an appointment with you then? Evelyn is getting impatient. The region shipping route was for my medical services. Do you need me to check your eyes? Ethan realizes she's annoyed and gets to the point. The patient will be transferred to Sterling City in a week. I was wondering when you might be available, Miss Laurent. Evelyn gives him a cold look. This weekend. School starts next week. You've already looked into all of this, haven't you? Mr. Shaw, or perhaps I should call you Professor Shaw. Ethan just smiles. Don't misunderstand, Miss Laurent. We'll be seeing a lot of each other in the future. Evelyn is about to respond when she hears Arya arguing with a man. She follows the sound and finds Arya dragging a dazed-looking man. Evelyn is stunned while Ethan is trying to hide his laughter, seeing Derek harassing her sister. Evelyn is furious. Looks like the Vances haven't learned their lesson. Derek yells at Evelyn to mind her own business, but she lifts him up like he's nothing. Her eyes are full of killing intent. It seems the scandal about your family wasn't big enough. Don't taint my sister's sight. She throws him to the ground. Terrified by her aura, Derek scrambles to his feet and runs. Arya walks over, smiling, and thanks her sister, telling her not to get angry over a loser. Suddenly, Arya notices the man trying to hide his laughter and asks who he is. Evelyn is speechless. Ethan Shaw walks over to Arya with a smile, introducing himself as a good friend of her sister's and asking if he can call her little sister. Arya is confused. How did he become such good friends with her sister so quickly? But she decides to play dumb. She smiles and holds out her hand. Hello, I'm Arya. Just as their hands are about to touch, Evelyn steps between them, warning Ethan fiercely, Don't get too friendly with my sister. Sensing the tense atmosphere, Arya quickly grabs her sister and makes a run for it. Ethan shamelessly calls after them, See you next time. A moment later, he receives a text from Evelyn warning him to stay away from Arya. Back in the private room, Caroline gives Arya a huge hug. This is my sister, Evelyn. Caroline beams, saying Evelyn is even more beautiful in person. Evelyn, not used to such warmth from anyone other than Arya, politely asks her to keep her distance. This only makes Caroline laugh harder. Evelyn's icy demeanor is the perfect fit for the fallen angel design she created. Caroline then takes a folder out of her bag, explaining that she's here to fulfill their agreement and has completed the entire Angel series. Celine's hands tremble as she takes the designs. My goodness, these are absolutely perfect, she exclaims, promising Caroline she will bring them to life. After dinner, the three of them are seeing Caroline off when a sarcastic voice calls out from behind them. Celine, still haven't given up? Still trying to suck up to Ms. Caroline? Celine just scoffs and waves the folder in her hand. I already have Caroline's designs. I believe it's time for you to honor our bet. Mrs. Davies doesn't believe her and tries to snatch the folder. But Evelyn is faster, grabbing her wrist and warning her, "Don't touch what isn't yours." Arya adds, "These designs are a trade secret. You can't just look at them." Protected by her daughters, Celine is full of confidence. "You heard them, now scram." Mrs. Davies and her friend have no choice but to leave in a huff. Celine wraps her arms around the two sisters. A mother should be protecting her daughters, not the other way around. What if you had gotten hurt? Arya's words are sweet as honey. My sister is super strong. I trust her. Evelyn, being hugged by her mother for the first time, feels a little awkward. She reminds her, "Be careful they don't try to steal the designs." Celine is pleased but still pretends to be tough. "I don't need you kids to worry about me. The weekend will be over before you know it, and you'll have to go back to school." She then instructs the sisters not to go easy on Derek, who is in the same class. Evelyn is already annoyed by the persistent pest and is thinking of ways to make him disappear. Arya sees the look on her sister's face and knows this school year is going to be anything but peaceful. The moment Arya steps onto campus, she becomes the center of attention. Because of the rumors about the real and fake heiresses and the broken engagement, her classmates flock to her, eager to stand up for her, but really just wanting an excuse to go after Evelyn. Arya is trying to figure out how to get rid of them, when her cute friend Judy rushes to her defense. "Leave her alone! Arya and her sister are on good terms." Just then, the teacher walks into the noisy classroom and yells, and everyone scrambles back to their seats. The teacher clears her throat and introduces the new student. "This is Evelyn Laurent, who transferred to our class today." Arya's eyes widen, eagerly awaiting her sister's introduction. But Evelyn is a woman of few words. "I'm Evelyn, Arya's sister." Arya is stunned. What kind of earth-shattering introduction was that? The teacher is also taken aback for a moment, then tells her to find an empty seat. Evelyn walks down the aisle, hearing the whispers around her. A country bumpkin like her thinks she can compare to Arya? Evelyn ignores them and sits down in the empty seat next to Arya. The classroom erupts. That's Derek's seat. Evelyn just smiles and asks Arya, "You don't mind?" Of course, Arya doesn't mind. She was going to ask the teacher to change her seat anyway. This just saves her the trouble. Seeing the two sisters getting along so well seems to disappoint someone. Victoria Howe deliberately walks up to Evelyn and says with a sneer, "Evelyn, I hear the curriculum in countryside high schools is a bit slower. Is that true?" Evelyn just gives a soft, Hearing this, Arya sighs to herself. "Rest in peace, cannon fodder, I have to study hard." Victoria stirs the pot, and the other clueless students join in. This makes Arya furious. She slams her hands on the desk and stands up. "Who said my sister will drag us down? Even if I drag the class down, my sister won't." Victoria turns on Arya. "She just admitted she hasn't finished the material. You can't just defend your sister and ignore the honor of our class." Just as Victoria is about to grab Arya, Evelyn's hand shoots out and catches her wrist. "Keep your hands to yourself," she warns, her voice cold. "If you're worried about grades, you should go back to your seat and study." But Victoria won't back down and challenges Evelyn to a competition of grades. Evelyn looks at her coldly. "Fine. If you lose, you stay away from my sister." Victoria smirks. "Let's make it interesting. We each put up 200,000 and other students can join in. Winner takes all." Before Evelyn can respond, Arya refuses. "That's organized gambling, which is a crime. You can't drag us into your illegal activities, you law-ignorant fool." The entire class is stunned into silence. It's a pretty solid reason. Suddenly, a round of applause comes from the doorway. Ethan Shaw walks in with a smile. Miss Arya has a strong sense of the law. Everyone should learn from her. Evelyn just lets out a disdainful, while Arya is completely bewildered. The novel didn't say the male lead would show up here. Ethan Shaw introduces himself as the new physics teacher, here to proctor the exam. Arya suddenly remembers the plot from the novel. This is where the main couple reveals their secret identities to each other, and their relationship deepens. As she's lost in thought, Ethan suddenly leans in with a smile. "Miss Arya, what are you thinking about so intently?" Arya snaps back to reality and laughs awkwardly. "Nothing." Evelyn immediately steps in to protect her, reminding Ethan to get back to his job. Someone, seeing them all talking and laughing, just can't stop stirring up trouble. Victoria comes over to finalize the bet they didn't finish earlier. The loser has to be on cleaning duty for a month. Arya grabs her sister's hand and readily agrees. "If we lose, I'll do the cleaning for my sister." Although she knows there's no way her sister could lose. Not in a million years. Ethan, seeing they've reached an agreement, acts as the witness and starts handing out the test papers. Arya's heart sinks when she gets hers. The original Arya was a top student, but she herself had only crammed for this math test. But then she looks closer and realizes many of the questions are familiar. They're the ones Asher had reviewed with her. Arya doesn't have time to wonder how that happened. She just needs to maintain her top student persona. Less than 30 minutes into the exam, Evelyn turns in her paper. Arya is amazed, as expected of the boss. For the language arts exam, Evelyn finishes early again. Arya is still stunned. An hour in, and I haven't even finished the reading comprehension. The English exam is even more impressive. Evelyn turns in her paper as soon as the listening section is over. Arya is completely numb to it by now. The final science exam is no different. After the exams, the classroom explodes. Most students suspect Evelyn turned in a blank paper just to show off. Judy is worried Arya will lose the bet. But Arya is full of confidence. Don't worry, when the results come out, everyone's jaws will drop. Just then, Asher walks in with a smile. Arya, I came to walk you home. Judy tactfully says goodbye. But she's confused. Didn't Arya always hate him? How did they suddenly get so close? On the way home, Arya tells Asher about the bet. He asks worriedly, will you lose? Before Arya can answer, Evelyn cuts in. Of course not, I won't let her lose. She shoots Asher a cold look. The back seat is full. You can sit in the front. Asher scoffs. So the bet was about you. Sure enough, Asher's sweet puppy dog act is reserved for Arya alone. Faced with Evelyn's provocation, he immediately becomes wary. The tension between them thickens, and Arya feels a headache coming on. Can't we just go home peacefully? Here we go again. The back seat is crowded with 3 people, and Arya, stuck in the middle, is not having a good time. Suddenly, Asher asks, Arya, what was the bet about? Just as Arya is about to answer, Evelyn cuts in. She made a bet with someone about my grades. If I lose, she has to do cleaning duty. Asher is annoyed. I was talking to Arya. Why are you answering? A faint smile plays on Evelyn's lips. Because I'm the main character of this story? Asher accuses Evelyn of dragging Arya into her mess, and Evelyn tells him to mind his own business. The tension is thick. To save her own skin, Arya quickly reassures Asher. Don't worry, I know my sister will win. Hearing this, Asher's jealousy boils over. How can you be so sure? You've only known her for a short time and you already trust her this much? Arya is taken aback by his sudden sour mood. She glances at her sister's expression and can only manage an awkward laugh. Of course I trust her. These easy questions are no match for my sister. Speaking of the questions, Arya's eyes light up. She looks at Asher. Did you know the test questions beforehand? Asher freezes for a second, then brushes it off as a coincidence. Evelyn lets out a disdainful snort, putting on an act. Asher immediately plays dumb. I don't know what you're talking about. Arya watches them trade barbs and feels helpless. When will this end? This is too much. The next day, Victoria is telling her friends that she did okay on the math test. But when she sees Arya and Evelyn, she immediately gets cocky. I probably got at least a 1 in 10. That should be much better than some people. She then condescendingly asks them how they did. The 2 sisters are calm, both saying they did fine. Hearing this, Victoria gets provocative again. I'm sure your fine and her fine mean 2 very different things. Just then, the bell rings. The math teacher comes in, furious, and scolds the class for not studying hard. Their class almost lost its top spot in the grade rankings. Victoria immediately jumps up and blames Evelyn for dragging down their average. The other clueless students chime in, yeah, it's her fault. But they're about to eat their words. You have the nerve to say that? If it weren't for Evelyn getting the only perfect score in the entire grade, our class would have lost its number 1 spot a long time ago. Victoria is slapped in the face by the truth, but she refuses to believe it, even accusing Evelyn of cheating. Teacher, Evelyn turned in her paper in half an hour. If she didn't copy the answers, there's no way she could have gotten a perfect score. Unbeknownst to her, Arya is silently enjoying the show. There's nothing better than a good old-fashioned face-slapping scene from a novel. Evelyn glares at Victoria. I just glanced at the questions and knew the answers. What, you can't do that? Victoria is so angry she resorts to personal attacks. In the original story, the female lead performs the glance and solve trick in front of everyone and gets her satisfying revenge. But why should she have to prove her innocence just because they doubt her? It's so easy to make accusations, but so hard to clear your name. Arya won't stand for it. This time, she decides to step in and teach Victoria a lesson. Victoria, you say my sister cheated. Do you have any proof? Victoria can't produce any evidence and just tries to confuse the issue. She finished the test in half an hour. What more proof do you need? Arya scoffs and takes a step forward. That's called speculation. Without evidence, it's slander. Victoria's face turns red and white. Can Evelyn prove her own innocence? Arya laughs. Have you never heard of innocent until proven guilty? The burden of proof is on the accuser. Besides, the school hasn't nullified my sister's score. What right do you have to slander her? The math teacher, having had enough, steps in. All right, everyone back to your seats. The entire exam was monitored. There is no evidence that Evelyn cheated. Then, he drops an even bigger bombshell. Not only did Evelyn get a perfect score in math, but she also got perfect scores in every other subject. She's the top student in the grade this time. Hearing this, Victoria is so angry she could grind her teeth. She refuses to believe a girl from the countryside could get a perfect score on the essay. She's furious and is clearly plotting something. During the break, Arya, full of curiosity, asks Evelyn, "Sis, I thought you didn't like writing essays. Why did you write one this time?" Evelyn looks at her with affection and gently pinches her cheek. "Oh, that. I just wanted you to win." Arya is so moved she could cry. The boss was willing to blow her cover for her? "Miss Laurent is so considerate," Ethan Shaw says, appearing out of nowhere with a sarcastic tone. Evelyn gives him a look of disgust and ignores him. Arya feels a little awkward and just says, "Hello, Professor Shaw." Victoria sees this and gets jealous again. We all met at the Tang family's banquet, so why does Professor Shaw treat Evelyn differently? Just as she's thinking this, Ethan walks toward her. Victoria blushes, thinking, "He remembers me?" But before her fantasy can take off, Ethan says, "Don't forget your bet with Miss Laurent. The loser is on cleaning duty." Victoria wishes the ground would swallow her whole. She's so humiliated. She's filled with hatred and silently vows to find proof that Evelyn cheated. As Victoria is fuming, a female classmate with a sinister look in her eyes approaches her and whispers, "I hear you're investigating Evelyn's cheating." "I saw her essay in the teacher's office. It looks a lot like an article from the New Literary Journal. Maybe." Victoria's eyes light up. She's thrilled, not realizing she's being used as a pawn. The teacher praises Evelyn's perfect essay, even making copies for the entire class to study. Victoria takes her copy, compares it with a magazine she has ready, and sneers. She can't wait to make her move. "Teacher, Evelyn's essay is exactly the same as an article in this prestigious literary magazine. She plagiarized." The classroom erupts. Whoa, she really did cheat. The teacher quiets the class and asks Victoria for the magazine. Arya happens to have the same issue. When she sees the author's name, she immediately understands. The pen name is one of her sister's secret identities. After reading the article, the teacher's face darkens. He asks Evelyn to explain herself. Arya jumps in first. "Teacher, this magazine was published after the exam. It's impossible for my sister to have plagiarized it." But Victoria won't let it go. The Lawrence are rich and powerful. Who knows if she saw it beforehand and memorized it? And Arya, you're covering for her? I bet you helped her cheat. Evelyn, who couldn't be bothered to explain it first, is now furious that Victoria is slandering her precious sister. "Shut up. Is it considered plagiarism if I rewrite an article I wrote myself during an exam?" Victoria waves the magazine mockingly. "Don't be ridiculous. You claim to be the author E.L.? E.L. is the vice president of the Writers Association. Stop making things up." Arya has had enough and decides to reveal the truth. "My sister isn't lying." "Teacher, you can look up Evelyn Laurent's information online." The teacher does, and the entire class is stunned. 17-year-old Evelyn really is the vice president of the Writers Association. Victoria is thunderstruck but still refuses to believe it. Arya retorts, "Are you going to accuse our family of bribing the teacher and the Writers Association now? You're making baseless accusations. You should apologize to my sister." But Evelyn says she doesn't have to apologize to me. "But she framed my younger sister, and this matter is far from over." Arya feels her sister's overwhelming love and is incredibly moved. The teacher also steps in and tells Victoria to apologize to both sisters. Victoria, though unwilling, has no choice but to bow her head and apologize. Arya smiles. "It's fine. We're not petty. But next time, make sure you have solid evidence." She then sticks her tongue out at Victoria. She sits back down and thanks her sister for standing up for her. A faint smile plays on Evelyn's lips. "What makes you so sure I was standing up for you?" she asks, feigning indifference. Arya nods like a woodpecker. "Of course, I know you love me the most, sis." Their laughter makes Victoria, who is watching from afar, burn with jealousy. A new storm is brewing. The teacher walks into the classroom and says sarcastically, "Some students may get excellent grades, but if they cheat to get them, that's a matter of character." Arya sighs. This teacher clearly has it out for her sister. Just then, Victoria waves a USB drive triumphantly. "I found proof that Evelyn cheated." Arya is exasperated. This drama queen is at it again. Victoria goes to the front of the class and plays a so-called surveillance video, showing Evelyn cheating on her phone when the proctor wasn't looking. The students start whispering, "Whoa, looks like they really caught her this time." Arya glances at her sister, who looks completely unfazed. Of course, she's a top-tier hacker. She could spot a fake video made by some amateur hacker a mile away. According to the original plot, the male lead is about to show up with evidence to save the day. The English teacher is furious. "This is outrageous! I'm calling the principal right now to have her severely punished. Evelyn, annoyed, crumples up her answer sheet and throws it at the teacher's forehead. Noisy. The English teacher explodes. You really have no manners coming from the countryside, cheating on an exam and insulting a teacher. You don't deserve to be in this class. Evelyn retorts, respect is mutual. And you call yourself a teacher? Just as they're about to come to blows, Ethan Shaw knocks on the door. The principal heard someone was cheating and sent me to verify. Victoria's eyes light up when she sees him. Professor Shaw, you're just in time. I found surveillance footage of Evelyn cheating. Ethan looks at Evelyn and asks softly, do you have anything to say? Evelyn glances at the screen with disgust. Poorly edited. Victoria panics but tries to stay calm. You're still not going to admit it? Evelyn can't be bothered with her and looks straight at Ethan. If you have something, just show it. Stop playing games. Ethan sees her impatient expression and smiles to himself. He then turns to Victoria. Miss Shu, I have the data you tampered with and the original video file. Should we watch it now? Victoria's face goes pale. She never thought her plan would backfire so spectacularly. The other students immediately realize they've been duped by her again. Enraged, Victoria raises her hand to slap Evelyn, but is met with a perfect shoulder throw that sends her sprawling to the floor in a pathetic heap. Ethan announces sternly, Victoria Shu for falsifying evidence and slandering a fellow student. You will receive a major demerit, your parents will be notified, and it will be announced to the entire school. He then turns to the English teacher. This teacher, for insulting a student without knowing the facts, needs to apologize to Miss Laurent. The English teacher is shocked, but upon learning that Ethan is the newly appointed deputy principal, he has no choice but to offer a reluctant apology. Evelyn gives a cold response and walks out. That evening, back at the Laurent house, the family is enjoying a rare moment of peace. Arya suddenly remembers another key plot point. How are things going with her mother's company, Glimmer Jewels? You have to be extremely careful with Ms. Caroline's designs. Celine smiles. Don't worry, I only gave them to Director Moss. She's been with Glimmer Jewels for years and was my high school classmate. There won't be any problems. Hearing this, Arya's heart sinks. She almost forgot that her new mother is a villain in the original story, so of course the person she trusts is a problem. She sighs, one thing after another. Not wanting her mother to be deceived, Arya advises her to investigate the mole in her company. But Celine refuses to believe Director Moss would do such a thing. Arya suggests they test her first. After much persuasion, Celine finally agrees to look into it. A few days later, Arya and the others come home from school to find the house unusually quiet. Celine is slumped on the sofa, looking utterly devastated. Arya immediately understands. Her mother must have found out about the mole. She approaches her and whispers, Mom, if you're upset, don't hold it in. Hearing her daughter's words, Celine's composure breaks, and she bursts into tears. She can't believe she was betrayed by a friend of 30 years. Arya hands her a tissue and asks what she plans to do. Celine is furious. I've already called the police. I'm going to make her pay. Arya gently comforts her. Mom, don't let someone like that ruin your health. Peter chimes in. Exactly. Just let the police handle that backstabber. Asher also adds softly. Arya's right. Don't be angry, Mom. Celine feels a wave of warmth. My children care about me so much. I have to pull myself together. Only Evelyn has been silent. Celine slowly looks up at her. Evelyn opens her phone, pretending to be nonchalant. Do you need me to recommend a lawyer? Celine, though she acts dismissive, can't help but take the phone and look. When she sees the business card for the top lawyer from the country's #1 law firm, she's stunned. How do you have his contact information? Are you sure this isn't a scam? Arya, afraid her sister's good intentions will be rejected, quickly adds, Mom, just trust her. Celine, all bark and no bite, says, Fine, I'll handle the rest. You kids don't worry about it. By the way, your sophomore year exam results should be out soon, right? How did you do? The topic suddenly shifts to school, and Peter instinctively tries to run. Celine grabs his ear. Where do you think you're going? Did you fail and get moved to the second-tier class? Peter is on the verge of tears. No, I ranked 41st in the grade. I'm still in the top class. Even so, Celine still scolds him. Peter immediately deflects to Asher. What about Asher? He's still in the 10th tier class. Why are you only yelling at me and not him? Asher quickly explains. I did pretty well this time. I improved a lot. I'm ranked 40th in the grade, thanks to Arya tutoring me before school started. Hearing this, Peter's jealousy boils over. He runs to Arya. Arya, you tutored him? You've never tutored me. He then turns on Asher. Asher, how did you trick my sister? But Arya senses something is off. Could Asher really improve by over 500 ranks with just 2 weeks of tutoring? And the high school entrance exam questions were almost identical to the ones he had brought her? Was it really just a coincidence? She starts to have her doubts, feeling like Asher is hiding something. To get to the bottom of it, she knocks on his door late at night. When Asher opens it and sees her, a hint of surprise and delight flashes in his eyes. Arya, what are you doing here so late? Arya doesn't say a word and walks straight into Asher's room. Her eyes are immediately drawn to the laptop on his desk. The young man in front of her suddenly feels like a stranger. He's not the Asher she knows. Stop pretending. You weren't hypnotized that time. As Arya says this, she grabs Asher's hand and pries open his fingers one by one. As she expected, she sees crescent-shaped wounds in his palm from his own nails. Just as I thought. You're so guarded around me. You probably did the same thing then, using pain to stay awake and resist the hypnosis. You found out? Asher says with a small laugh, looking down. Arya looks at his innocent smile and feels a sudden sense of panic. This guy is definitely completely corrupted on the inside. But then she thinks, he must know I'm not the original Arya. Does that mean I've avoided the fate of being killed by him? As her mind races, Asher slowly leans in, closing the distance between them. His faint scent surrounds her. How did you find out? Arya instinctively takes a step back. I bluffed. Asher chuckles. Then what made you suspicious? Arya raises an eyebrow. You exposed yourself. You used the excuse of asking me for help with school to control your scores, so you could be in the same class as me, right? Asher nods in response to each of her questions. Arya stares at him and asks, You're the hacker Quest, aren't you? He nods again without hesitation. That's right. Arya is completely baffled. With the identity of a top 3 hacker, why would he willingly endure such humiliation in the Laurent family? Was he doing all this for her? But if he's been hiding his identity for so long, why would he deliberately reveal himself now? A million questions swirl in her mind, and the only reason she can think of is it because I'm not the original Arya? She can't help but ask. Asher backs her up against the desk. No. I'm doing all of this because... He pauses as if gathering his thoughts. Arya looks up at his handsome face so close to hers, and her heart trembles. She's at a complete loss. You're the expert at analyzing people's psychology, Arya. How can you not see that I'm in love with you? Asher's voice is soft, with a low chuckle, like the gentlest spring breeze blowing into her heart. Arya never expected that Asher was actually in love with her, the person from another world, and not the original villainess. At this moment, her mind is a mess, and she has no idea what to do. Faced with Asher's heartfelt confession, Arya panics and backs away. It's getting late, good night. She quickly flees the scene. Asher watches her go, a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Good night, Arya. He had deliberately let her find out because he didn't want to be seen as just a little brother like Peter. That night, Arya tosses and turns, unable to sleep. She can't figure out why Asher turned to the dark side so early, or when he developed feelings for her. But she has a nagging feeling that her reincarnation was no accident. The next day at school, Arya is exhausted. Evelyn notices and immediately suspects Asher is to blame. She sends him a text demanding to know what he did. But his only reply is, that's a secret, which infuriates her. Seeing Arya yawning constantly, Evelyn's heart aches. She hands her a bottle of water. Arya takes it and thanks her. Evelyn gently brushes her cheek. Get more sleep from now on. Arya's face turns bright red, and her heart flutters. Her attitude seems a little off, too. No, I must be overthinking it. To calm down, she decides to put some distance between them. But as soon as she reaches the door, she runs into Asher. He beams at her. Arya, are you here to help me move my things? Arya tries to act calm. Yeah, let me help you. Just then, Evelyn appears, snatching the books from Asher's hands. She has hemophilia. Aren't you afraid she'll get hurt? She snaps. Asher looks at Arya with shame. I'm sorry, Arya, I was just so happy I forgot. The tension between Asher and Evelyn is thick enough to cut with a knife. Arya quickly tries to mediate. Let's not block the doorway. The other students start whispering and gossiping. But Victoria Shue just scoffs. Asher is just Arya's living blood bank, right? Everyone knows Arya has a rare blood type and hemophilia. She's been living off his blood all this time. The class is shocked, condemning the Laurent family and pitying Asher. Although Arya has never used Asher in that way, she can't deny what the original villainess did. Victoria becomes even more smug and walks up to Asher. Go on, tell us, how did the Lawrence exploit you? Asher slowly looks up, his eyes as sharp as a blade, as if to say, keep talking and I'll end you. Faced with the drama queen's provocation, he retorts without mercy. Miss Shue, is there something wrong with you? The Laurent family has been very good to me. There's been no exploitation. Please, keep your baseless fantasies to yourself. Victoria is speechless, and the other students start to doubt her. But she doesn't give up and turns on Arya. Don't be fooled by appearances. Arya constantly abuses Asher mentally. Just as Arya is about to defend herself, Asher steps in front of her. He instantly transforms into a pitiful little puppy, his voice full of mock sadness. It hurts me to hear you say such slanderous things about my sister. Where did you even hear this? Did you make it all up just to get back at her? Seeing his masterful performance, the two Laurent sisters can't help but think, the only way to defeat a drama queen is to be an even bigger one. Feeling Asher's complete devotion, Arya's cheeks flush. Victoria, seeing the tide turn against her, quickly flees. With Asher's public clarification, the living blood bank rumor is put to rest. Arya walks over to Asher and thanks him for standing up for her. He looks at her with a gentle, loving gaze. You're welcome, Arya. Just then, Judy comes over furious. Arya, that Victoria is too much. I bet she's just jealous that you got more votes than her in the campus belle and bow competition, so she's trying to slander you. Arya feels a pang of guilt. The original Arya really did exploit Asher. But she's curious about the competition Judy mentioned. What competition? Judy quickly explains. It's a school tradition. It happens every year. You're in second place right now, but I've already got people campaigning for you. There's no way I'm letting Evelyn take the campus belle title from you. Arya gives an awkward smile. You really don't have to. Just then, her eyes light up. A surprising name is in third place, Ilara Yao. She remembers from the novel that Ilara was a hardworking but overlooked student, who, for some reason, ended up taking her own life. Arya decides she has to investigate and save her. Coincidentally, Ilara has been placed in the same class as Arya this semester. Arya observes her and notices something is off. Her eyes are always wandering and she seems completely out of it. The bell rings for biology class. The teacher announces a pop quiz. Less than 30 minutes later, Ilara turns in her paper, but she doesn't look happy. In fact, she seems to resist it. When the biology teacher's hand touches hers, she recoils in fear. The teacher apologizes softly, but there's a sinister glint in his eyes. Since you're in the top class now, you can continue to be my class representative. I'll keep guiding you just like before. Ilara looks helpless and isolated with no choice but to agree. However, the observant Arya sees everything. She immediately understands. So this monster is the reason Ilara took her own life. Ethan Shaw looks at the message from Arya, a knowing smile on his face. Just then, a sharp knock comes at the door, and Evelyn walks in, her expression blank. She walks straight up to him and hands him a file. This is the list of equipment needed for the procedure. She turns to leave, but Ethan stops her. Congratulations on your perfect score, Miss Laurent. I think a student with your grades is wasted at this high school. Evelyn pauses and gives him a cold look. And a man with your status is just as wasted here, Professor Shaw. She slams the door behind her. Mr. Shaw, you're not staying at this school just for her, are you? His assistant asks, full of curiosity. Yes and no, Ethan replies vaguely. The assistant is stunned. Don't tell me you're after both sisters. The more you look into it, the more shocking it gets. Meanwhile, Arya has told Ethan about Ilara, but she's also thinking she should ask Leo to help her find evidence. As she's lost in thought, a dark figure appears behind her. If you want to investigate something, you can use me. I'm very useful. Asher whispers, his warm breath tickling her cheek. Arya's face flushes and her heart starts racing. She makes an excuse and runs. Class is about to start, we should get back. But then she thinks, Asher's hacking skills are better than Leo's. He would be an invaluable asset. The rejected Asher looks like an abandoned puppy watching her go. Second later, his phone dings. It's a text from her. He's instantly revived, a blush spreading across his cheeks. The black-bellied puppy is thrilled and can't wait to share the good news with Evelyn. When Evelyn sees the message, she feels a pang of annoyance and immediately replies with a single word, scram. The tension between them lasts all the way until the end of the school day. Arya, stuck in the middle, is so awkward she could die. Just then, Judy appears like a ray of sunshine, running towards her. I want you to come to the basketball game with me. Judy's eyes are sparkling with excitement. She's going to cheer on her crush. Arya is torn. She wants to support her friend, but she's worried her sister and brother will start a fight. Asher senses her hesitation and speaks up first. Go ahead, Arya. We'll just tell Mom when we get home. Arya is relieved and happily goes with Judy. Asher and Evelyn silently watch her go, each with their own thoughts. It's only when Arya is completely out of sight that Asher says, his voice full of provocation, Care to spar? A sharp glint appears in Evelyn's eyes. Let's fight, she replies without hesitation. Arya gets home in a good mood, only to find her goofy brother sneaking around. It turns out Evelyn got into a fight and is now being lectured by their mother. Evelyn glances at Asher, who is also sporting a few bruises. Why are you only yelling at me? Asher immediately puts on his sad puppy face. Mom, I just fell down by accident. Evelyn is speechless and thinks he deserves an Oscar. Their mother completely believes Asher because he's always been so well-behaved. Evelyn is furious. He's well-behaved? Then who was I just fighting with, a ghost? Arya feels a little regretful. She shouldn't have left the two of them alone. But she's also warmed by her mother's attitude. She's starting to care about her sister. Just then, their mother spots the two eavesdroppers and calls Arya over. She expects to be scolded. But instead, her mother tells her she's going to inherit the family fortune. Arya is so stunned by this sudden windfall that she can't even process it. The next day, her father eagerly takes her to the company. Luckily, it's just a tour, and she breathes a sigh of relief. But before she can fully relax, her father suggests she intern at the company after her college entrance exams and take over after graduation. Arya's head spins. How can a fake heiress like me compete with the real powerhouse for the family business? She quickly tries to get out of it by saying she's too young. But her father just smiles. I understand. You don't like the entertainment company. That's fine, we have other businesses. Arya is amazed by her father's strange logic. She has no choice but to change the subject to her sister and brother. Her father has it all planned out. Evelyn can learn to manage the business with you. We have plenty of assets to go around. As for Peter, we'll give him enough shares to live comfortably. Any more and he'll just waste it on video games. Hearing this, Arya has to admit it makes sense and she can't think of a rebuttal. Her father then gets busy with work and has his secretary, a woman named Ms. Evans, show her around. They first go to the artist signing area, where a dark-haired woman recognizes Arya as the Laurent family's daughter and immediately tries to suck up to her. Miss Laurent, are you here for an inspection? Manager Han is inside. Please, come in. Arya thanks her politely and asks for her name. The woman blushes with excitement. My name is Sylvia. Hearing the name, Arya's eyes widen in shock. She remembers from the novel that Sylvia ends up in jail, and the incident is the catalyst for Zenith Entertainment's bankruptcy. The thought makes her scalp tingle. I almost forgot, in the novel, Zenith Entertainment is brought down by Evelyn herself. The company must be rotten from the inside out. Looks like I'll have to be the one to clean up this mess. Ms. Evans is about to introduce Manager Han and an actress named Chloe. But Manager Han interrupts, as if Miss Laurent doesn't know who we are. The original area, influenced by Scarlett, had always targeted Chloe. Manager Han is fiercely protective of her artists and naturally dislikes Arya. Chloe tries to leave, but Arya stops her. She looks at Arya with disdain. Miss Laurent, we have nothing to talk about. Arya knows about her prejudice and decides to play the part of a spoiled rich girl. She scoffs. Chloe, dear, how long are you going to hide the fact that you're pregnant? Manager Han is stunned. Chloe quickly denies it. I did have a checkup last month, but the results showed I wasn't pregnant. Stop spreading lies. Arya casually blames Scarlett. She hid the fact that you were pregnant because she wanted to expose you at the worst possible moment and force you to quit the industry. Chloe is furious. Scarlett went too far, tampering with her medical report. But Manager Han is suspicious. Everyone knows Arya and Scarlett are close. Her revealing the truth now must mean she has ulterior motives. Arya sighs. Scarlett and I had a falling out a long time ago. I would never help her. Knowing it won't be easy to change their perception of her, Arya decides to create a new persona for herself, one that is all about profit. My dad is giving me Zenith Entertainment. You two are the company's cash cows. Of course, I'm going to protect you. Manager Han stares at the gentle, well-behaved but cunning girl in front of her, stunned. After a moment, he says, let's figure out a solution first. Arya immediately lays out a plan. First, go to a hospital to confirm the results, then get married and make a public announcement. Manager Han, you and the PR department need to coordinate the timing of the announcement and manage public opinion. Manager Han is amazed by her quick thinking. With that settled, Arya prepares to leave. Before she goes, she warns Manager Han, Sylvia is involved in drugs. Don't sign her. Arya's smooth handling of the situation impresses even the veteran employee, Ms. Evans, who says she looks forward to working with her. Arya feels a little guilty. She only handled it so easily because she knows the plot of the novel. But in the original story, Scarlett used the Laurent family's connections to alter the results. Now that she's been kicked out of the family, she must have found a new backer. A few days later, Chloe announces her pregnancy and marriage. Veronica Wong from Orbit Entertainment had planned to leak the story to ruin her rival, but now her plan is ruined. She's furious. You'd better give me a good explanation today, or I'll show you just how deep the entertainment industry's waters can be. Scarlett scrambles for an excuse. It must have been Arya. She must have found out something and warned them. Hearing Arya's name, Veronica flies into a rage. That fake heiress with hemophilia? Let's see how long she lasts without her living blood bank. Just now, news that Derek was returning to school spread like wildfire. Judy rushed to tell Arya. Derek's back at school. Are you okay? Arya couldn't care less about Derek, but the two people behind her were probably about to explode. Judy guessed Derek was back to drop out, and Arya agreed. His family was bankrupt, and with his pride, he probably couldn't face his classmates. As they're talking, Derek appears at the classroom door, shouting arrogantly, "Even if my family is bankrupt, the bag I carry is something you couldn't afford in a lifetime of work." A male classmate, unable to stand his attitude, stands up and retorts, "We're not interested in things bought with illegal money." Derek grits his teeth but says nothing. He glares around for a seat and, seeing his spot next to Arya is gone, says sarcastically, "Arya, is this a case of love turned to hate?" Arya is confused. "What love?" Derek stares at her. "Isn't it because our engagement was cancelled that the Laurent family refused to help my family? A little jealousy is cute, but this is just petty." Arya can't help but laugh. "Don't be so full of yourself. I never liked you." The Laurent family simply doesn't want to associate with criminals. Enraged, Derek raises his hand to slap her. Just then, a pen flies from behind Arya and hits his wrist with perfect accuracy. "Who was that?" Derek cries out in pain, looking behind Arya angrily. Asher just smiles playfully. "Sorry, my hand slipped. Can you pick that up for me?" Derek's face turns red with anger. He points at Asher and yells, "Are you crazy? A dog raised by the Lawrence dares to bite people?" Hearing this, Arya's anger flares, and she immediately defends Asher. Seeing this, Derek goes crazy again and raises his hand to slap her. Evelyn quickly pulls Arya out of the way and executes a perfect shoulder throw, sending Derek sprawling. She looks down at him coldly. "If you don't want your hand, I can have it amputated." Derek scrambles to his feet, yelling, "This is school bullying!" He runs out like a coward, bumping right into the deputy principal, Ethan Shaw. "Mr. Vance, what happened? You can tell me." Derek immediately twists the story. "Arya and the others assaulted me. You have to do something." Ethan smiles and says he will handle it fairly. Seeing him, Arya breathes a sigh of relief. Evelyn just glances at him, a hint of mockery in her eyes. Such an actor. Derek plays the victim, claiming Arya, Evelyn, and Asher ganged up on him, and demanding they be punished. Arya has never seen such a shameless loser and refuses to stay silent. "Derek was the one harassing me. When I rejected him, he got angry and tried to hit me. Asher and my sister were just protecting me. He's the one who should be punished." As she speaks, she subtly activates her hypnosis. Ethan immediately senses it, but Arya's skill is so advanced that it takes all his effort to resist. He glances at Evelyn, expecting her to be able to resist as well. But to his surprise, she seems to have willingly let her guard down. Just then, Judy stands up for them. "Derek came in here acting crazy. I seriously think he has anger issues." The other students agree. "Yeah, he's dangerous. How can someone like that be allowed to stay in our school?" After getting a general idea of the situation, Ethan decides to give Derek a major demerit and have him undergo a psychiatric evaluation. As for Arya and the others, fighting is still wrong, so they each have to write a 1,000-word apology letter. Derek is taken away by security, and the classroom returns to normal. After class, Arya feels guilty. They only got in trouble because of her, so she decides to write all 3 apology letters herself. But Asher, the top 3 hacker, has already finished his. So has Evelyn, who is ready to turn hers in. Arya glances at her sister's paper and sees 6 big words written on it, 1,000-word apology letter. She's speechless. Even more surprisingly, Ethan stares at those 6 words for a full 2 minutes before seriously complimenting Evelyn on her work. Arya sighs to herself. Of course, even apology letters are part of your games. You two play with emotion so well. The biology teacher arrives early for the next class. Arya wonders, why is this creep still here? I thought the male leads in novels were supposed to be decisive. She immediately texts Ethan to ask, only to be caught using her phone in class by him. Wow, he really takes his job as principal seriously, managing both teacher conduct and student discipline. Seeing how long his investigation is taking, there must be a lot of victims. As she's lost in thought, the biology teacher's slimy hand lands on her shoulder. "Miss Arya, please pay attention in class." Arya, disgusted, shakes his hand off. "Don't worry, teacher. I am paying attention." The teacher, rebuffed, slinks away. After class, his creepy gaze lands on Ilara Yao again, and the two of them seem to be plotting something. Ilara cautiously approaches Arya and asks her to help her return some textbooks to the biology teacher. Hearing it's the biology teacher, Asher immediately declines on Arya's behalf, but Arya tells him to go on without her. At this point, she probably doesn't realize what's about to happen. She just wants to protect Ilara. On the way, she notices Ilara's strange behavior and tests the waters. "Ilara, you don't seem happy. If something's bothering you, don't keep it to yourself." The smile on Ilara's face freezes. Nothing's wrong, she stammers. Soon, Alara leads Arya to Mr. Caden's apartment building. The way she navigates the place so easily makes Arya suspicious. You seem pretty familiar with the teacher's home. Alara quickly explains, I'm the class representative, so I come here often to drop things off. Arya thinks nothing ventured, nothing gained, and lets Alara pull her into the elevator. When they get to Mr. Caden's apartment, Alara rings the doorbell. The door opens, and Mr. Caden's leering eyes scan both of them. He puts on a friendly facade and invites them in for dinner. Arya flatly refuses. Teacher, we just came to return the books. We won't disturb you. But Mr. Caden's eyes are fixed on Arya. Don't be so formal with your teacher. Just stay for dinner. Just then, Alara suddenly pulls Arya inside. Arya's heart sinks. All of Alara's actions have just confirmed her suspicions. It's both laughable and tragic. She was trying so hard to save Alara, but Alara was plotting against her all along. Mr. Caden tries to get Arya to drink something, but Arya turns the tables on him, hypnotizing them both. You should have some too, teacher. 10 minutes later, Ethan arrives with 2 police officers. We received a report of an adult threatening a minor at this location. At this point, Mr. Caden is rolling around on the sofa, hugging a pillow and talking nonsense. Alara is huddled in a corner, repeating, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I was forced. Arya immediately stands up. Officer, she brought me here to see the teacher, and the teacher tried to force himself on me. She snaps her fingers, breaking the hypnosis. Before Mr. Caden and Alara can figure out what's going on, the police have Mr. Caden in custody, and Alara is taken in as an accomplice. Alara panics and begs Arya to explain, claiming she didn't do anything. Arya scoffs. You didn't do anything? Then who brought me here? Alara cries, saying she was being blackmailed by Mr. Caden with inappropriate photos. Arya retorts mercilessly, that doesn't give you the right to drag an innocent person into it. Ethan can't help but step in. Arya was actually trying to save you. Hearing this, Alara's legs give out and she collapses. As they are led away, Arya looks at them and sighs. The pitiful always have their own hateful side. Ethan asks curiously, do you regret it, little sister? Arya shakes her head firmly. No. I did this not just to save her, but to save many other girls. Ethan asks another question. Little sister, what level of hypnotist are you?